And welcome everyone to the debut of Mega Life 21 Live's Shooting the Shit Red Pill Progressive. I am the Red Pill Progressive, James P. Madonna, and I am proud to introduce you to my co-host from San Francisco, California, Mike Hilton. Mike,
how are you guys doing? Glad to be with you, James.
The East-West connection is here. And later on, we will bring you the great drummer of the heavy metal rock band Oxblood Forge, Eric Fraunfelter of Massachusetts Beer Review, is supposed to join us with his wonderful craft beer reviewing of the great New England craft beers that are up there. I am from northeastern New Jersey, and we are here. It is Friday evening. It happens.
Neighbors.
Yep. The Ides of March are soon upon us. It is the beginning of March 2020. Oh. Spring is in the air. The Ides of March. Okay.
Spring, but careful of the Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March.
All right. For the evil spirits, and I got the levity bell. Now, we're going to hit hard. The female gender. I will start by talking about feminism. I don't want to talk too much about the history of feminism because they started off with good intentions. You know, they wanted equal rights in terms of voting. There was the suffrage movement, and then there was, and then they fought for various equal rights, which I have no problem with. And of course, they want equal pay for equal job to a man. Now, Donald Trump, even though I'm not conservative, he did make sense when he said, Michael Hilton, when he said, if they can do the same job as a man, then they are entitled to equal pay. I agree with him because I have worked for women who were paid more than me because they had seniority or equal pay or whatever. And they always called me over to help them. Now, why are they constantly calling me over to help them on the job? And they would give me some bullshit excuses. Well, you're the man. Be a gentleman. Be a gentleman. Be chivalrous. Now.
Oh, well, that's maybe somebody trying to show off their social context in a way. They're trying to how do you put this? They're people splaining in a way. So, you know, not just guys, you know, some girls do that too with the people splaining. And that'll always be a problem.
Well,
so it sucks that you dealt with that, but that's a widespread issue.
Well, if they consider themselves the weaker sex, then how can there be equality? You know, by the way, a chivalrous gentleman provider, like the women like to put in their Tinder profiles, is nothing but a beta, B-E-T-A, a beta orbiter sucker, a sucker that pays for everything, that does everything, that makes the first move.
They get very mad whenever they see guys and girls talking. It's just the two opposite genders actually having a conversation.
Well,
they get very angry about that.
The feminazis definitely want to sabotage all heterosexual relationships. They don't.
So do feminist men.
Yeah,
very intensely extremist feminist men. They definitely want to do that.
The extremist feminist men are what I call neoliberals, just like the feminist women. They are neoliberal, and they in a lot of ways they're like fascists, like the neoconservatives. They are extremists, and they're the ones that cry sexual harassment, even if a man compliments them or asks them out to lunch. I mean, innocent stuff. I mean, all sexual harassment cases should be investigated thoroughly before a poor guy loses his job just because he happens to be a real man. Maybe he's even an alpha man, and he finds a woman that he works with to be very attractive, and he likes her, and maybe they get along. And there's nothing wrong with complimenting her dress or how she looks, or asking her out to dinner after work or to lunch. But you know what? But now they have everyone walking on eggshells. The feminazis, the neoliberals, where they don't want to see any heterosexual relationship to grow, to thrive, to exist, and to see happy straight people together. You know.
Well, I've even seen a lot of the time, just as I said, they get very upset when they see an example of a healthy relationship, one between, say, a man and a woman, or could be a woman and a woman, or a man and a man, and they see that the polarity is correct, and instead of take responsibility, maybe try to notice where they went wrong in their dynamic, they almost like to put it on the people who they are observing, almost as a deflection, if you will. So there, one issue with the extreme feminists, not the feminists, but the extreme feminists, in my view, is that they love to fuck up an entirely good example of people talking and having conversation, being adult, being out there, participating.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, the thing is that the women that actually like men, the heterosexual women that are very attractive and younger, and still have a high sexual market value. They are exploiting feminism to their own benefit. In other words, they cry equal rights. They say they're feminists, but they want the man to pay for everything and do everything. So they want their cake and eat it. Because why? Because they can. Because these beta orbiter suckers are showering them with attention and compliments, and telling them all kinds of wonderful things, putting them up on a high pedestal, worshiping them.
They want to take advantage of it.
And paying for everything like suckers. Now, how could you, where is their equality if the man is paying for everything and doing everything? And then if they marry them, the poor guy's got to work himself to death, maybe 2 jobs, long hours, to pay for the high rent or mortgage, the utilities, pay for her fucking student loan, pay off her student loan if he happens to be an older, established, high-income businessman. Oh
yeah, she's the one doing the hustle. She's the one behind the wheel.
That's right.
And that's fine.
She's controlling the relationship because of the beta orbiter, being that he's a sycophant, a sucker, brown noser, for those that don't know what sycophant means, because he is that way, because he's desperate to get laid. Oh, heaven forbid that the woman that he has the hots for withholds sex and uses it as a weapon, and he doesn't get laid because he has no life. He has no hobbies and interests. Maybe she took his friends away from him. You know, maybe she said, "I don't like your friends. I don't like your hobbies. You got to give all that up for me. You got You got to go shopping with me. Follow me around while I shop for my bullshit. When I go shopping for more shoes and more clothes and more panties, and follow me around like a little puppy dog.
You
This is,
just got to be like Caesar in apes and say and yell back, no.
what?
Once in a while.
That is a very forgotten word. Not only for real
What, the word no?
No, N-O. Not only for alpha
I
men.
say that word all the time. It's my favorite word.
No, not only for alpha men, but for modern day parents that don't know how to say no to their children.
Oh
No,
yeah, they say fuck you to their parents.
no, you can't have that new video game. It's too expensive. I have to pay the bill, so I got to put a roof over your head and feed your face. I can't afford that. No, you can't have it. And if the kid takes a tantrum, in the old days, you took him in the restroom and you gave him the back of your hand, the old bada bing, right across the chops. In the old days, they didn't get love taps like single mothers. They spanked the child, the toddler, over the diaper, which they don't really feel anything. In my day, they put you over their knee, pulled your pants down, your bare ass was sunny side up, and you got welts across your ass cheek.
Oh man, I'm a white guy and my mom was white, but back in the day when I would say dumb shit, I'd have a freaking comb taken to me. She would not. She could be, the kindest person in the world, but she would also be the toughest person in the world. Kind of like me. I could be the friendliest guy ever, but I could also be a freaking dick. And there's a video on YouTube of a kid flipping off his mom, and if you look up reaction kid flipping off mom, and the reaction to that, yeah, James, that's gone from our culture. So in a way, our culture puts a lot of emphasis on controlling people, unless they're your kids. So you can control grown men. You can control people who are trying to make it in this society. Quite frankly, whether it's a man or a woman, but you can't control the people who are necessarily at stake the most. Oh, you have to kiss up to them, even though, quite frankly, you're bigger than them, you're older than them, you're wiser than them. No, that's completely out the window now.
Well, all I got to say is my Italian grandmother had a whole big collection of wooden spoons, and the wooden spoon, depending on what size she grabbed, according to how old you were, was very effective and very painful. So your corporal punishment was used, and my step.
Oh, you dealt with that?
Well, we had a weeping willow tree in the back of our yard in one of the houses we lived in, and when you get spanked with a weeping willow branch, you felt the whip of that thing. That thing was that was a nasty sting, and you know what? That's why we grew up with respect. The kids did not. The kids were not monsters back then like they are now, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
like Bill Maher. What Bill Maher said with a "fuck you, dad" or "fuck you, mom." You know how they just say "fuck you, mom."
Yeah. Well,
saying that shit.
I mean, if we got the shit kicked out of us if we ever said that to our grandparents or parents or aunt or uncle. We got the shit kicked out of us, but we were respectful, and we grew up to be respectful adults. Now we didn't grow up to be sociopath, self-centered asshole yuppies like the ones that are driving and live in this area I'm living in.
Or the financial district of San Francisco to
try
to compare to you.
Yeah. Over here we got a lot of these people that work in Midtown Manhattan, maybe on Wall Street or just Midtown, and they're
the financial district.
Yeah, they're high income because their cars are like they're all brand new Mercedes, Audis, BMWs, sometimes an occasional Ferrari or Lamborghini. Yeah, and they're definitely, and the women, even the young ones, like there's a huge Korean community next door. And even the young Korean girls are dressed to the max, designer clothes. Some of them have a Rolex watch on, and they're getting out of a new Mercedes. But you know what I notice about them? Even the white high income women that my friend, who's a famous dietitian and personal trainer, when I when he introduces me to them, when I see all of them shopping, they look very miserable or angry. They don't look happy. These
Yeah,
women,
they're difficult to approach.
but
I
but
don't know if I would want to.
but they're not good natured. Like they don't smile and converse with anybody. They're miserable. It's like, did they marry into money, to some asshole that maybe ignores them and doesn't show them love? Uh,
Maybe that's why they want the guy to approach first a lot. Because if they do it, they may not know what they're getting into.
well, you know why? My theory is, and it's going to be part of the red pill talk. My theory is that women
All
don't
about the red pill.
women don't make the first move to ask a man that they like out, because they
No.
have they have alligator arms, short arms and deep pockets.
Yep.
Short arms and deep pockets. In other words, they're cheap motherfuckers. To be honest, there's no censorship on my show, people. So get used to the language. They
Yeah,
really
by the
are.
way, if any, we'll agree with James on that. If anybody is ever taken aback by anything we say, well, we're sitting in our home in the comfort of our homes and drinking alcohol. So you're
Well,
sorry, but you're
yeah.
gonna have to look to something else.
Well, this is the ultimate cyber man cave, and hopefully it will be the part of a long, ongoing series. And yes, it's rebellious for good reason, because I mean, even though we're not beta suckers, uh, and
Hell no.
we believe in true equality, not fake, phony, fraud equality. Um,
Well, yeah. How's it equality if you damn one of the sides? Like what? So
well,
equal rights, but for one side.
it's one sided. Well, let's take the perfect example, something popular. Let's bash the Tinder app, the Tinder dating app. What
Oh,
do these young, what do these young, attractive, some of them are cute, some of them are pretty, so, different degrees, but they have nice bodies. They're not, even some of the chubby ones are demanding,
they do.
believe it or not. And they put at the beginning of their profile, I want a sugar daddy to spoil me and take care of me and show me the finer things in life. I want a chivalrous gentleman to do this and to do that, and to treat me like that, knows how to treat a lady, a woman, a man that knows how to treat a woman. Oh, you mean be a sucker? Knows how to treat a woman. Now, back in the day
Oh shit.
when they invented all that chivalrous gentleman crap, it was a different time. You didn't have nightclubs, dance clubs, online dating. You
Well,
only
nightclubs really are what online dating should be. Like the whole purpose of a nightclub or a bar, from my experience, if I may, James,
Mhm.
whole point is not even a focus on trying to get laid. It's to have a good time and to say, even if that didn't happen, uh, it's not going to happen every night. But if you can just celebrate each victory that you have going forward, and almost builds up a momentum in a way, and then through that lens, you really will meet a woman who's willing to, in her confidence, say Latino women, oftentimes, a lot of the time, Latinas, for example, uh, approach you first. Now, not to stereotype, have seen though that with Asian women, it's very difficult to get a read on their compliance.
but
And
because
I'm not
they're-
necessarily going to say insecure,
no,
but
they're
I will say that they're maybe a little bit more held back by societal standards.
well,
Whereas,
but they're
go
very
ahead.
they're very unemotional and robotic in their behavior. I hate to say it, the Asian women.
Yeah, I wish that didn't happen.
I mean, how are the Asian women in San Francisco's Chinatown? Are they very reserved and
They're
quiet?
pretty reserved.
So they're
Yeah, I
not
don't.
like, they're not like, they don't like eyeball you and smile at you and say hello and start talking to you like
That
California
that
girls.
might happen, and that's happened with uh, the opposite gender in general in other neighborhoods, but not Chinatown. And feel Chinatown's almost like a mini financial district. Some neighborhoods you can the social context fits, whereas other neighborhoods it's really,
So
if you were to say do something, try to meet somebody outside, say a bar or a club, um, it would feel weird.
yeah,
It would feel weird.
so do you think it's the Americanized Asian women or Latina women, the Americanized ones that are more assertive on the West Coast than the
Oh
ones
yeah,
off the boat, the ones from overseas, immigrants?
oh yeah.
Yeah, they're more.
Anybody though, in my mind, who's not Americanized, especially given all the issues that you were concerned about, James. Anybody in my mind who's not Americanized, which in my mind is institutionalized by blame society, they're going to be a lot easier. Even Asian women, they're going, or not easier, but they're going to be a lot, yeah, cross easier, but they're going to be a lot more get alongable. They're going to be more comfortable, more confident. It seems like American society is very uncomfortable a lot of the time, very
Yeah.
non-comfortable.
Well, the problem with Americanized women is they have feminism breathing down their neck, and they tend to be. They're very materialistic. They're very materially obsessed, but they're obsessed with your money.
Yes.
Your money. In other words, their money is theirs. And if they're involved with you, your money is theirs. And the worst part about, like, for instance, what the Asian girls do is in the first conversation, they don't ask me, with the exception of a few nice ones that are courteous and have manners. But most of them, like in the first sentence, they won't ask me what my hobbies and interests are, what my passions in life are. They'll say, "What do you do for a living? What do you do? What kind of job you have?" I said, are you trying to size up my income, like right at the beginning? You don't even care about getting to know me as a person by asking me about my hobbies, interests, and passions right away. What do you do? What kind of job you have? So I says, in Western culture, that's very offensive. Men will think you're trying to size up their income.
Right. Wait one second, James. I'm typing on my screen because I'm typing to a text. So while I'm texting people while also talking to you,
Oh,
which is kind of cool.
that's the snap crackle pop I'm hearing.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Oh, man, sorry about that.
That's right. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't have your cake and eat it, ladies. If you want true equality, it has to be equality across the board in all aspects of life, not just making money. Uh, Here, it has to be social equality also. I know you don't ask guys out. I know you don't ask guys out because you're too fucking cheap to pay for the date. I know that's the reason. Don't
They
give
should approach first, though.
don't give me this bullshit about I'm shy, or you're the
They
man.
should approach first, though. You know, if there are some issues with approaches, then think even during the daytime, for example, think women should maybe approach first, and maybe the guy doesn't. Just
Well, usually eye contact is the start. A smile would help,
it's
but
a start, but it's not necessary. I've
you
seen
know,
moreover that eye contact,
you know, but
shoving, and
but
uh,
in society in general, the one who does the asking out is the one who is supposed to pay, and they just don't do it because they're cheap. Well, they say, well, you're the worst thing a woman can say aside from sizing up your income, at the beginning of a conversation is when a woman says, "Well, you're the man. You're supposed to be doing these things." I'm not supposed to be doing shit. The only
I've had girls say that they want to take me to dinner
That's
before
good.
sometimes. They've said that.
That's California. That's good. You guys are very advanced on the West Coast. But I mean, the only thing a man is supposed to do is die and pay taxes. To be honest with you,
Two certainties in life.
yeah, death and taxes.
Sorry, James, doing
No,
something
that's
on
okay.
the computer too.
I
Death and taxes and no other worries, because death is the most feel blistering of everything in reality.
Well, it is a certainty, but the point is that you cannot, if you want equality, don't be saying that you're the man and you're supposed to be doing this, that, and the other thing. I mean, that's
How
hypocritical.
about both?
They want this, that, they want this, that, and the other thing. Why? Because they know that men have a much higher testosterone level than they do, and thus a higher sex drive. And they know that men are suckers for a pretty face, and they will constantly give them attention. And here comes the big word: validation. This is what gives women their power in today's society, that happen to be good looking and higher on the sexual market value.
There is such a hack for that, though. If you want to know what it is.
What's that?
All right, so the hack for not giving a shit about looks or a lady bumping into you, for example, is asking questions. And I rarely compliment women. You sound like you don't do it unless it sounds like it's from the heart, which is good.
Yeah, I'm sincere about
sincere. But then, once we get into conversation, I try to avoid pickup lines, and instead there's something by David Snyder, and he's an NLP programmer. He advocates using a 3-pronged system.
Okay.
Ask, what brings you here? If that goes well, you can ask, what do you like to do? If that goes well, further delve into it and just start coming up with your own questions. I kind of forget the third question, so I'm kind of bullshitting on that one a little bit. But yeah, I rarely compliment or throw pickup lines, and it seems to go just as well. And then women will approach first, and they will decide to continue the conversation. Now, this whole thing of men approaching women, that can work. It can work. But I think, as we discussed, it oftentimes falls into intense masculinism on the other end of the spectrum, okay? And a lack of productive masculinity. So those guys who do that and who do it in a predatory way, like always saying, yeah, you guys come back with me, for example. That always bothers me. That may be a valid thing for a guy to say in a way. He's trying to be strategic, but I can't agree with it, because it's just, you're making a beeline. For example, I always find that just not giving a shit about any of the things that lead to that path of the beta male. If you can show that it doesn't affect you. Long story short.
Yeah. Well, women, they psychologically in analyzing women based on interviews that they have conducted, proves that women really do not respect the beta orbiter, chivalrous gentleman sucker. They respect alpha men a lot more, because alpha men, they say what's on their mind. They speak their mind. They're not afraid of expressing themselves in a sincere way. Even if
then they don't overdo it, though, either. They don't do it the second they get the chance. You know, James,
And
right?
even if it might sound a bit crude and crass, at least the alpha man is honest, you see, by expressing what's on his mind. The beta orbiter is just sucking up to the woman, and the women know this. So the women, plus the beta orbiter is easy to manipulate and exploit. Okay, so the women, the good-looking women, have no respect for the beta man, and even though the alpha man might come across as a wise ass or sarcastic or crude, he's honest through and through, and he's a
Yeah,
real
at least he's honest.
man, and he's and because like women like alpha men that lead the relationship or the date. They don't want a beta man to let the woman decide what they're going to do on the date, where they're going to go. They like the alpha man to say, "What? No, no, no. I'm not going to a fancy, expensive restaurant with expensive drinks. No, no, that's not going to happen. I'm gonna meet you for the first time for coffee and a croissant at this nice cafe nearby. That's good enough.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. So then
Coffee.
coffee. So then I happen to love good coffee. Good coffee, not cheap ass coffee. But
I like good coffee.
coffee. You say coffee. You say coffee, and I say coffee, coffee, coffee. Let's call
Sorry,
the
man.
whole thing off.
Had to.
Anyway, I sent the message. I sent the link to Thomas Meadow 75, and
What's he doing? What's he up to?
well, he's asking me, "You guys gonna go on? You guys?" I said, "Yeah, bring the craft beers, man."
I'm going.
All right. Speaking of, so
I can't stand the idea of being totally alone with this man for the duration of the program.
now the thing is that um, they definitely, getting back to what I said, they definitely do not respect the alpha. I mean
You're right.
the beta sucker. They don't respect the beta sucker at all, and they're going to end up, even though he pays for everything, and he's the provider, which is the fancy way of saying sucker. They're going to end up, when they become middle-aged cougars, they're going to end up cheating on his ass with
The
with
Cougars tend to have there. Don't get me wrong. There are some great Cougars out there, but
well,
the majority of them, when you see them in a bar or club, for example, they act like they expect the guy to come up, and they're not going to say hello, for example, but they will shove you, they will orbit you, and they will look at you like you're some kind of ghost because they don't get it.
yeah,
They didn't see it.
I got news for them. They have hit the wall. They are beyond the wall. Their sexual market value has plummeted because they're not in their early 20s anymore. And when a young gigolo stud like you is in the bar, they're supposed to be hitting on you. Let me tell you something. They're middle
Not the
aged.
way it is, buddy.
They're over the hill. You hear me, Cougars? You're over the hill. You're beyond the wall. Beyond the wall. You're supposed to bust a move on a young guy like this because he is in his high sexual market value. You're not. You understand? And forget about this delusional shit that everybody wants a successful, well-established man, a provider of this and shit. I'll tell you something. You gold diggers, you think rich older white men that are established and self-employed, you think they're that way because they're stupid fools? You got another thing coming. They're gonna use your sorry ass, and they're gonna dump you by the curb because they know that you are after their money and a gold digger. They're not gonna tolerate it. And you think they're gonna pay for your student loan? If you owe 80 grand or 100 grand in student loan, you think the
They're
rich?
not going to pay for my student loan. Hell no. I would pay for structured ladies dinner, but they would not pay for my for my student loan, for example. Hell no.
I have an idea. Start a little business where tell the cougar, either pay me in cash or make the check out to Consolidated Adult Services and Health, otherwise known as cash. You know, yeah. Listen,
True that.
you want a new wardrobe, you want new sneakers, you want workout equipment, you want shoes, you want new underwear. What you want, none of this cheap crap. You want to be taken out to eat. You want big ass desserts. You want cocktails. You want lots of craft beer. And they're supposed to pay because they are over the hill. They have hit the wall. They're beyond the wall. And you are in your sexual market prime, and therefore you are supposed to receive the compensation, just like all the chickie poos did for decades. All the gold digging chicks out there that are getting everything paid for by the established older man who has money to burn, but he spends it anyway because he can afford it, but he knows it's going to
like
be
a regular Thomas Crown.
He knows it's going to be a short-term relationship because he knows the girl is a gold digger. So being that he's an established businessman, he's intelligent. He's no fool. So he knows that. And she thinks it's going to be long-term, and she's got a maid in the shade, man, and she hooked herself this rich guy, and she's going to inherit his money. You know, meanwhile, her imagination is really flying and running with this. Little does she know that guy.
Then why do they continue that approach? As you said, why do they?
They're fucked up. They're brain cell deficient. You know, I hate to say it, but you know they've lowered the academic standards these days. Like I bet even for like SAT exams and everything. If you ask any of these girls, if you showed them a map of the United States and said, "What state is this?" Oh, do you know the capital of that state? What state is that? What country is this? Oh, no, what continent is this? When Jay Leno was running the Tonight Show, he did that. These are college girls. They did not know the answer to these questions. It's pathetic. So these girls that are dumber than a bag of rocks think that an older, self-employed, financially independent, established, usually they say a white guy, they're a woman of color, they want an established white businessman. What a white collar job. I had an Aunt Josephine, my mother's
that's a nice name.
my mother's mother's sister, and she used to always brag, "Oh, my sons, they all have nice white collar jobs. Oh, a girl should find a man with a nice white collar job." Now I know where the girls get their bullshit from. They get it from the women in their family. Marry a doctor, marry a lawyer.
Just take a look at the financial district in a lot of cities. Just as you said, just uptight and just overly self-concerned. It's
These are the same business people that charge poor souls $2,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment in San Diego and San Francisco. Is that true?
True. Yeah.
Yes. These are the same yuppie, greedy pricks that are charging astronomical rents, and then you gotta worry about making rent and try counting out $2,500 and put it on a dining room table and knowing that money's going to go to some landlord.
Hey, right. Yuppity kaye.
Yuppity kaye. Where's Eric? Okay, now we're gonna save some more red pill for the next time. Now we're gonna do some beer reviewing. Well, you are. Now it's time for you to start the beer reviews. It's all yours, Michael Hilton.
Okay, so what we got is it's almost done now, but it's Allagash White. And Allagash White is a Belgian style wheat beer, clocking in at 5.2% ABV. Thank you for the full screen. With 13 IBUs, so a little bit of humble bittering hops going on in this Hefeweizen tall glass. Check out this cool ass motherfucking Hefeweizen glass.
That looks good, man. I like that.
Thank you, James. One finger white head, hazy as can be. Doesn't that look hazy, James? Would you drink that?
Yes,
Or would you
I
not?
like full-bodied, hazy-looking craft beers.
Well, yeah, I know that you New Englanders are big on the are big on the haziness.
Well, it's an alpha male beer. It's heavy. It's dense. It's not light for these namby-pamby, delicate beta men out there.
No, true. That's true. This isn't entirely light. It's more of a heavy mouth feel. Spicy paprika, coriander, lemon peel. It's delicious. So if you're say trying to go out to the bar and try to be alpha, you're trying to keep your wits
Is that what the cougar says?
ends about you.
Is that what the cougar says if she gives you a blowjob and you ask her, is that you? Do you get a heavy mouth feel, my dear?
Well, that's maybe what happens non-verbally, but this beer, actually, I get very worried. Sometimes, the noises that she'll make, because we'll be worried. Just, are you choking? Like, are you actually choking, dying right now? Like, I don't want you to be harmed in any way. So that's definitely awkward to think about when it comes to foreplay, for example. But when it comes to that, there are some great cougars, but they have to be the ones that have the same attitude as the younger women. They have to be congruent with the younger women, otherwise it's not going to
Well,
work.
you know what it reminds me when a cougar tries to act like a young female that is high in the sexual market value. It reminds me
Yep.
of the old comedy, The Munsters, when Herman Munster used to look in the mirror before he went to work and say, "You handsome devil, you," and then the mirror cracked. So, in other words, they're delusional about their self-worth in the singles scene, in the singles market scene. They really, especially if they have baggage, like young children, if they have young children, and they expect some other man to take on the responsibility of another man's kids. You know what? You don't have
confident cougars won't pull that. They won't do that. Just they'll have their night with you, and then you'll unless there's something else there, you'll be on your way. There won't be any of the pulling of the strings. So some cougars can act like a younger woman. If you're looking for a woman to approach you first, but then you're talking to too many older women almost as a crutch. That's very incongruent. It's not going to work. But have seen that there are some cougars. They are just wildly attractive, and
women
sometimes would rather hang out with them. To be honest,
women tend to like men that are in demand. If you're in the nightclub or a local sports bar, and someone is initiating a conversation, or you're conversing with a woman, the other girls will notice, and that makes you much more attractive when you're in demand. It's
your dance card is full.
It's one big immature mind game. It really is. Men, even alpha men, do not like to play mind games, but because women think in terms of emotion, whereas men think in terms of logic, this is how it is. It's just like it's adolescent. It's like high school girl. Oh, he's popular. Woo. You know what Colonel,
Golly.
the manager of Elvis Presley, Colonel Parker, who ripped him off, by the way. He wasn't even a Parker. He was a European guy from Austria or wherever. Anyway, you know what he did? He used to pay off few young girls, young females that had boyfriends anyway, and pay them to rush Elvis when he entered the bar, restaurant, or the nightclub, and to start hugging and kissing him, trying to tear his clothes off. He did that.
Mm.
Did that because he knew the cameras were going to be there as a publicity stunt to make.
Oh man, I used to try to kiss girls all the time in the bar, and hold on, just got to respond to another text. But then
Yeah,
still
but
we'll try to speak here. But
yeah,
you can't do that, man, because she'll ghost your ass after.
no. The girls did. He paid the girls to do this to Elvis because he knew it was going to be in the local newspaper in Tennessee. This is a young Elvis, so he knew it was going to be in the local Tennessee or Memphis newspaper. This was all part of the publicity to boost up his popularity, and he paid them off to do this. But women are still the same. They like men that are in high demand, but if you validate them, they're going to play more mind games with men. You just cannot shower them with attention and buy them pricey drinks and give them compliments all the time and put them on Mount Olympus on a pedestal, because the validation is going to give them more reason and incentive to play mind games with you. And they want
Well,
equality.
that yeah, you're right. Not a fan of the mind games. That's the whole thing about false IOIs, false indicators of interest, false compliance, is that usually is indicative of what everything that you delved into in a way. So even if you are able to get her isolated, uh, how well is it going to go? And can you really test for compliance? Can you make a move like somebody who's in their natural state of being can? Now, not really as a fan of physical aggression in a nighttime setting, usually trying to avoid that stuff because it can really shorten your buying power with her. So again, even if it goes well, will she stick around? I think that a lot of guys are probably asking themselves that question. Will she stick around? And it just dawns on me that a cougar who's used to getting too much attention and doesn't show the brighter side of herself, or even a young girl who's used to being a little bit of a, dare I say, tease,
Yeah, the car
they're
user. Yeah.
they're not going to allow much time or room for the other person, kind of hence the inequality. The other person doesn't have any time or doesn't have any fucking time or space uh, to do what they need to do in this situation.
All right. Well, that's the only power that women have, is based on the validation coming from the beta suckers. Other than that, they have no power whatsoever, because it's like a supply and demand, like in the business world. Uh, if no one is giving them attention and validation, then they get all upset that they're ignored in public, and they have no dates, they have no boyfriend, no one.
Sorry, I know I keep interrupting, but there's a perfect example of that on a plane where a girl got very upset with the guy for not
Oh, go
talking to
ahead,
her
go
on the
ahead,
plane.
hold on, go ahead.
Oh no, just saying. It doesn't have to be full screen for the whole time, but was saying that there was a female who got really upset at a male passenger because she was trying to start conversation, and he was refusing it. It blew up into this whole disproportional um, incident on an airplane. So that's the opposite end of the spectrum of you're so wrong to go after go after what you want. This is the opposite end of the spectrum, is when people get offended because somebody's giving them their personal space in a way, right?
That's so funny. That is so funny. So you could be an alpha male, and you could be doing your own thing, reading a magazine or a book. You're on a plane. There could be an attractive woman sitting next to you, and you just simply ignore her because when you give them attention and make the first move, guess what? They play. They act standoffish and snobby, and they don't. She might not even reply to you when you talk to her, or she might just give you a little smile, and that's it, and no conversation. So
I mean, that can feel good. That can be. Oh, shit!
you got to get your,
Damn you,
you
Mike.
got to get yourself one of those. You got to get yourself one of those. I'll show you one of those
Tripods.
cell phone tripods.
Oh, right. That's a cool ass tripod. That's not too high.
Well, and they're only a few bucks, and I bought a whole bunch of them at a dollar store. To be honest with you,
What dollar store did you go to?
well, I've seen them at Five Below. I've seen them at the one I got, the Dollar Zone.
Yeah, Five Below.
Dollar Tree doesn't have them, but this one is from Walmart, right? But let me tell you, those cheap bastards at Walmart, those greedy fucks, had this locked up. They had this locked up behind a case because they said, "Oh, we have to," because people will shoplift this. It's like not even a $3 item, a cell phone tripod. I wouldn't say a tablet tripod. It's not big enough. A cell phone, and you could prop the cell phone up sideways or
I hear you on the iPad.
vertically, horizontally, and you get one of those. But I'm telling you, this phone that you're using, number one, high definition. Go get another beer, by the way.
I will, but it's way better.
Oh, it's way better as far as the quality.
Yeah, the iPhone is brilliant. You don't even have to take your iPad or laptop to somewhere. You can just, especially if you say have to do a video, you can just bring your iPhone and it's all good. You're ready to roll.
Yeah, let's say you bring this phone at your favorite sports bar that has lots of craft beer on tap.
Silver Peso in Larkspur, California.
Right. So you got one of these tripods with you. You prop it up on the bar, and you say, "Hey guys, I'm having this. I'm right at the bar. I'm having this." And you're and 9 times out of 10, the bar or restaurant will have good Wi-Fi. So you ask them, "What's the password of this Wi-Fi?" You get it. You log in. Boom. You're right. You're online right at the bar. But this phone will give quality audio and video.
Oh yeah, not an iPad. Not even sure a laptop. I mean, it's possible with an iPad, but
well, you must have high megapixels with this phone.
Yeah, it's not as clean. Well, I actually have a food review to do. Have some food. I have to review this on YouTube. Show it, James, and see what you got.
Now, you people out there that are just jumping aboard now, you missed a lot of great red pill talk at the beginning. So far, believe it or not, it doesn't feel like it, but we've done almost 55 minutes of being live stream on YouTube. Almost 55 minutes. It doesn't feel like it. And we did a lot of great. Oh, what you got there? Pepperoni pizza? What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, yeah, 55 minutes of greatness and more greatness to join it. Here's a pepperoni sausage pizza by Home Run Inn in Chicago.
Oh,
Oh man,
oh, it's
it's
frozen.
oily, gristly. What's that?
It's frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza, but it's from Home Run Inn, which is
Oh.
Home Run Inn in Chicago. It's supposed to be amazing. Went there over at Midway Airport. It was freaking awesome.
Well, my co-host, my one of my original co-hosts of Progressive Discussions, when I do Progressive Discussions, as seen on the web, Mick Von Raven, he's from Chicago, and he knows all the places there, of course, to get the Chicago deep dish pan pizza, and he's a heavy metal rock band enthusiast, just like Eric Fraunfelter. I don't know where Eric is, but
That was a nice segue. Saw what you did there. This is not deep dish pizza though. This is pretty thin.
no, that's not deep dish. There's another frozen pie called the Screaming Sicilian that I've had. It wasn't bad, to be honest with you.
So good. Really
Wasn't bad.
stuffy. Those pizzas have a lot of meat in them. It's awesome. What are you drinking there, James?
Just lemon water, because I only have some hard liquor to bring on next week's. I want to save it for next week's Thundering Thursday with Ronald J. Tirio. And he has a, YouTube channel, and he does outstanding fermented beverage reviews. He does a very long running show called Dawn Busters. That's right. He drinks hard liquor and he reviews them at 5:30 a.m. Central Time. And we do a show called Fandango Friday or Thundering Thursday if he happens to be busy on Fridays. In this case,
Wild Card Wednesday.
no. Well, that's Wild Card Wednesday was created by Eric Thomas Metal 75, Massachusetts Beer Reviews. He created it, but he has rock band practice on Wednesday. So Ronald J. Tirio hosts Wild Card Wednesday. And that
I'm gonna have to cut off kind of soon here because I have to go do something for my boss. I started as a personal assistant.
Oh, you have to go to the restroom.
Wow. No, I have to go. I have to go to CVS pretty soon to buy something for a task that I'm doing. So forgive me if I have to cut out early.
Oh, okay. So you
But
get
we'll spend a bit before I ship out.
okay.
And if you're still on when I get back, hell yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, Eric will be. Now, the thing that I look for in pizza, I like a lot of cheese. I'm a cheese lover. A lot of cheese. I like heavy on the toppings, heavy on the cheese, and not too much dough. Now, on the other hand, if a pizza is made with the proper pizza dough, I mean dough that has been that is risen and kneaded and risen again, kneaded, has to be resurrected many times, and they use high gluten flour.
Gluten's important sometimes. Actually, that's pretty good sometimes.
Yeah, bagels and pizza are both made from high gluten flour.
Oh yeah.
And the only difference is bagel dough is boiled, whereas pizza dough is not. But there is definitely a science to good pizza dough.
Well, it's very much floury, it's yeasty, and has just all of that fucking mozzarella that just makes it the mozzarella good pizza.
Yeah,
and really prefer it that way. And
well, I think
can't skip out on some good pepperoni.
I think frozen pizza has come a long way over the years. There's no doubt about that. It vastly improved.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, they used to be shit. It used to be the shits. I mean, at one time.
Like DiGiorno?
Yeah, back in the Mama Celeste DiGiorno days. I mean, even before that, like the first frozen pizzas were horrible, and
they're okay.
It's like getting an encore frozen dinner, or a Stouffer's, or or a hungry Swanson Hungry Man dinner. They suck. Now frozen dinners are now like practically restaurant quality. Practically.
Well, I go to the restaurant.
Almost restaurant quality. Sometimes they're exactly restaurant quality. If you go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, I heard there's a store in San Francisco called Carnival, I believe. Carnival.
Don't know Carnival. Don't know that one, then.
It's supposed to be like Whole Foods, but better in certain ways. It was told to me by someone who lives in San Francisco a long time ago.
Somebody telling you about that who isn't me?
It wasn't you. No, it was another guy. His name is Dan E. Mount. He was he played the acoustical guitar, but he was really good at flamenco music.
Oh, I like flamenco music.
Yeah, it was yeah, flamenco music is very nice, and he played it well. The only thing, and he was an atheist, but he used to, just like Damian Owens, he used to get very angry if I brought up religion. He would get angry. I said, "Why are you getting so upset? Why are you yelling?" I says, "You're acting like Linda Blair, like getting splashed with holy water from the priest. You're freaking out, man." I said, "Have an open mind." I wasn't preaching religion. I was just, because I have an open mind. I believe that maybe we are all one big extraterrestrial experiment. It's possible.
Maybe we're all just brains in a vat.
Maybe all the races were planted here from different planets, from different solar systems. We're all humanoid, but the races are different, but we're humanoid. Kind of like the aliens on Star Trek. They were all humanoid. And but I have an open mind about many things. I have an open mind about mysticism, about paranormal investigation, spirits, evil spirits, people that have not moved on to the other world, that are still they have unfinished business here, and they're still trapped in this realm. I have an open
that TV show.
Yeah, Sasquatch, the Bigfoot. I have an open mind about different creatures that are seen, like there's a new series called the Alaska Triangle, where Alaska is predominantly there's only two major cities in Alaska, and most of it is uncharted territory. So they feel that there are prehistoric. There could be woolly mammoths. There could be many creatures that have been seen by Native Americans, hunters, that are in uncharted parts of Alaska. I mean, now there's more videos than ever before about Sasquatch, or the Yeti, about different creatures. The Thunderbird may very well be a prehistoric bird. They've seen a bird whose wingspan, where it was just as wide as a hill or a mountain. People have seen it. I mean, not just Indians, but like Alaskans, hunters have seen this gigantic bird, like Rodan.
Definitely. Hey, listen, James.
You got to split.
I'd love to discuss that more. I gotta hit it. I gotta go. I want to finish. I want to finish this. I also have to finish that task.
Okay, listen.
So maybe if you're still on, we could do a post show.
Well, hopefully, like if Eric comes aboard, we might still be on. You got to go to CVS. At least you did a review on the wheat beer.
Allagash White.
You did a review on one craft beer, and you did a review on that frozen pizza, and we talked a little bit about pizza. So we'll see. I mean, I will let you know if I'm going to be on.
Definitely do that.
Because if I'm going to be on, then there will be a part 2.
Yeah.
tip. So you go do what you have,
All right.
and I'll banter a little.
Sorry for you. Sorry for you to see my shining face go.
Your shiny face, yeah, but you got a lot of color.
Hmm?
You have a
Color.
lot of color. You have a pinkish hue, like George Costanza said on Seinfeld. You have a pinkish hue.
Oh
Maybe
yeah. I remember that app.
yeah. Does he have
Pinkish
a good
hue.
cheek? I need a good cheek. Oh, I need lustrous hair. Oh, you want to be able to put your Jerry says you want to be able to run your fingers through the hair.
My hair is okay.
Yeah, no, but you got a pinkish hue so the cougars would notice your great blood circulation, your blood flow, and
Thanks, man.
so you go.
Like your hat, James.
Well, this is my Democratic Socialist Bernie Bro hat. This is my Bernie Bro.
Nice, man.
All right, I'll see you,
Guys. James, pleasure.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Okay, and that was very nice of Mr. Michael Hilton to stop by from San Francisco, California, and excuse me when I do a bit of a little something here. Hold on, please. I wonder where Mr. Eric Fraunfelter is of Thomas Metal 75. He said he wanted to be on to do some beer reviews with a friend of his, actually. But anyway, it's over an hour already. How about that? I'll just do a little banter here. So, getting back to what I was saying before, getting into the red pill talk. Equality, to be true equality, cannot be hypocritical. It must be across the board. Okay, fine. You want to make equal pay for equal work as a man. If you can do the job as a man, if you can do the exact job as a man, I'm all for it. But equality has to be the same, not only in making money and in the business world, but also socially. Don't bitch and moan and cry and say, "Where have all the good men gone?" Now, what is your definition of the good men? Is your definition of the good men that will kiss my ass and pay for everything and support me and pay off my student loan and support my little fucking monster kids? That is really someone else's responsibility. If you have a problem raising your young children, you need to get a lawyer. I know women are not shy about getting a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Take the old man to court and get child support for your kids. It is not the responsibility of any new man that you meet to support someone else's children. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You're not better than men. Men do not really owe you anything. Even a man that is below you in terms of sexual market value, even if he's out of your league or if you're out of his league, he really does not owe you anything, especially a self-made, self-employed, like you say on Tinder all the time, well-established man does not owe you a fucking thing. He Just because you have sex with him, that doesn't mean shit. He could dump your sorry ass to the curb. So make your own money. Definitely pay for your half of the date. Pay for your half of the date, because then you won't feel obligated. I want to see if I still have this. I want to do a screen share. Let me see now. Let me see if I can. I never did a screen share on this before. Let's see. No, forget it. Forget it. I have to tinker with this to learn how to do a screen share. I wanted to show you the first page of the Absolute Vodka website. You can go there yourself. Just go to the browser, type in Absolute Vodka. It's Swedish vodka. I did a review on Absolute Vodka during Thundering Thursday this week. On another show, on Ronald J. Theriot's show. Anyway, the very first page is a preaching lecture to men. It sounded very neoliberal, feminist, preaching to men that just because you buy a female a cocktail, that does not mean it's a yes to have sex with her. Now, first of all, it's none of society's business. It's none of the government's business. It's no politician's business. It's no feminist organization's business. It's no company or corporation's business. It is strictly the business between two consenting adults. You hear that? Whether or not one person expects anything, any payback, any favor from the opposite sex for any gift that is rendered, that is given, any gift, and buying someone a drink, or dinner and a drink, or dinner and multiple drinks, is a form of gift. If the other person expects something in return, then it is up to the two consenting adults to discuss it. And then if the woman is definitely dead set against having sex with the man who bought her things, in this case, liquor, which happens to be an aphrodisiac for women, you know, one of the finest aphrodisiacs going. It always has been. So it's up to the female to tell the male, no, I am not, and no means no. In this case, no definitely means no. I'm not going to have sex with you. And take out her purse and pay him for her half of the date. Problem solved. Guess what? She doesn't owe him any favors. It's not up to the CEO or the company that owns Absolute Vodka to be preaching to men about something like this. Maybe they were forced to do this. If I was the CEO, I would say mind your own damn business to the feminist organization or to the government. It's not up to a company to be preaching and lecturing to men. Now, if you want to validate, here's that word again. If you want to verify, well, forget about validate. If you want to verify what I just said, just simply go to Absolute Vodka's website and check it out for yourself. It's usually the very first page that will come up once you enter the website. It's ridiculous. I screen saved it. I cropped it. I put it on my Progressive Discussions Facebook page. Everything else I have is under the name Progressive Discussions. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on Facebook. I used to be on Twitter, but they terminated my account for telling the truth about the corporate whores in the Democrat Party in the 2020 campaign. I told the truth about Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, and all of them. Mike Bloomberg. I was rough with my language. I was rough, but I was accurate. Okay, and because I was honest and I told the truth, they terminated my account there. It's corporate fascism, censorship. That's what community standards, quote unquote, really represents. It is corporate fascism. And they all use the same words. Community standards on YouTube, which I have a YouTube channel, Progressive Discussions. Community standards, I think, was first used on Facebook by the pencil neck geek, hawk nose Mark Zuckerberg, the control freak geek. He was the first to use those words. Yeah, it's corporate fascist censorship, and they pander to any lobbying group, unfortunately. And I'm very serious about that lecture, that unnecessary lecture by the Absolute Vodka Company. So getting back to fake, phony, fraud, equality. You want to save problems, ladies. Whether you're young and attractive, whether you have high sexual market value or low sexual market value, whether you're a cougar, over the hill, whatever. If you want to make your social life easy, just pay your own way unless you become seriously involved with the person. And then, it doesn't matter. He treats you because he loves you. You treat him because you love him. And sometimes you go Dutch when things are tough, when finances are tough, you go Dutch, or you pay your own way, and you do it that way. But if you're not seriously dating the man, if he's not your steady boyfriend, just simply pay for your own half of the date, and there's no expectations and there's no problems. It's as simple as that. And if you happen to like the person and the man is looking at you and you're getting good body language from the man, and the same thing with men. The woman could be making it very obvious for you too. She could be giving very obvious positive body language, eye contact, maybe a smile. Maybe she stands right next to you if it happens to be a bar. There's nothing wrong with either sex making the first move and saying hello. Now, this business of a man's supposed to be doing this, that, and the other thing, that's bullshit. That's a double standard. Okay. That's not true equality. And the idiots on Tinder that are obvious gold diggers, the stupid young females, dumber than a bag of rocks, that are making it very blatantly obvious that they are gold diggers. They're just simply out of their minds and delusional. They don't know the real world. And they're going to find out the hard way what the real world is all about if they continue their cock-teasing, gold-digging ways. Now, as far as the feminists go, they hate men, and unfortunately, the centrist neoliberal politicians are afraid to say no to them because they don't want to lose that vote. They don't want to lose votes. So they pander for votes, and that's why they give them everything they want and make laws in favor of the women. The worst thing a man can do is to get legally married, because then, especially if he has a child, like what's happening to my brother, once they have one child by you, the woman can get a lawyer and take you right to the poorhouse, and it will happen. So do what my sister's doing now. She's divorced. My sister has been living with her boyfriend for 15 years now, and they're very content and happy together. Like the song from the 60s. What was that group? The Grassroots? They're very content. They have no children. They share a house in a quiet, bird chirping suburbs of northern New Jersey, and they're very content. They know each other's bad habits. They're each other's good points, negative points. Sometimes they tolerate each other. Sometimes they're fine. They're perfectly fine, and they're content. And there's no marriage contract. There's no legal system to verify, validate, whatever word you want to use, their relationship. There's no need for it, because it just makes it, because of the neoliberals and the man-hating feminazis, they have made it very unfavorable financially for men to get married. My good friend Brian, when he was getting a divorce, his ex-wife Josephine, who was on a power trip. She was a control freak. She used to follow him around. She used to look through his dresser drawers, his wallet. She used to she used to follow him with her girlfriend, even spy on him when he was working out in the gym, peering through the window to see if he was talking to any girls. Because she became fat, with a big, thick, fat legs loaded with cellulite. Her ass was loaded with cellulite. She became lazy, fat, and out of shape, and he started looking good. He started going to the gym, pumping iron, became a power lifter. He used to do security with me for professional wrestling events for many years, and he became, a musclehead. She didn't like that. She felt threatened by that, this Josephine. So she, when they went to court for the divorce, she got pregnant. She told Brian that the gynecologist said she was unable to get pregnant. Well, that was bullshit. So he deposited the scum guppies, and the scum guppies did the crawl, the breaststroke, and everything, and they made it. They made it to that WAVO. And she had a kid, and she tried to use the kid to get poor Brian. And now listen to this. She had the nerve to want like $180 a week for one little girl, for one child. No way does one child require $180 a week in child support. So what happened was she didn't get it. The judge says, that's ridiculous. It turns out she had a boyfriend on the side. She wanted to use that money to go out and go on vacations and have fun with her boyfriend. And the boyfriend showed up at the courthouse, and Brian and him ended up in a fist fight. He says, "What are you doing here? Mind your own damn business." Brian told him, you're not supposed to bring him there. And even the judge and everyone in the courthouse says, this is not acceptable. This is improper to be bringing some boyfriend to your divorce case. Definitely inappropriate. Completely. So anyway, that was that story. So don't get married. Date. Do your own thing. Find out what your passions are in life. Get some hobbies and interests. Hang out with your friends. I like to go fishing. I like to work out. Uh, I like cooking, gardening. I like exotic pets. I have my hobbies. Do your hobbies. Do them with other people that enjoy the same hobbies. Go on vacation, even if you have to go on vacation by yourself. Um, do an all-inclusive resort. Get a good bargain on Expedia.com or whatever you use, and take vacations and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your unattached single life. Do what you enjoy doing. If you find that one of your hobbies can be turned into a career, into a little self-employed business, do it. Go for it. But don't get legally married. Especially be careful with the immigrants, because they could be green card whores. They'll leave your ass after they get their green card if you marry them. I know people that were victims of this. That will definitely happen. And that's aside from if you're older and somewhat established, and the young, good-looking young gold diggers are flirting with you because you have a nice-looking new sports car, okay, and they're sizing up your income. Be careful of them too. Don't get married, and try your best not to knock them up. Don't get them pregnant. Do what you have to do. And if you have a business like my brother, a thriving business, find a good sleazy lawyer that knows how to hide your money. That knows how to hide your money. If you have a thriving business or profession, learn how to hide your money from any judge or any girlfriend. Don't make her your wife. And don't sign and agree to any sizable life insurance policy. That means your supposed significant other wants to bump you off. Remember that case? They made it into a movie, that the husband had a big life insurance policy on him, and the wife was slipping him large amounts of the mineral selenium into his food, and eventually selenium overdose can be very toxic, and he died from that. But it was hard to, well, of course, the coroner's findings showed the selenium in his bloodstream, so it was not the perfect crime. But anyway, don't sign any life insurance policies if the woman is enthusiastically trying to get you to sign it. Don't get married, and try not to have a child with anyone, especially if you're married. Well, if you're married, you're already stuck. You're already stuck. But yeah, my sister's very content. 15 years living with somebody, and that is primarily it. Now, getting back to Tinder, because I might have another guest to do craft beer reviews. I'm expecting 1 to 2, originally 2 other people. They might pop on. Tinder is a very popular dating app. It's full of mentally unstable people. It's full of escorts that are advertising, loaded, infested with escorts, scammers, and gold diggers. And with the gold diggers, there's a pattern. And the pattern is like young females that are cute. Some of them are cute but fat, and they have no business being a gold digger. But many of them are reasonable looking, but they're young, and they're women of color. They're females of color. And those are the ones that are not shy. They're very bold. And like I said before, the first one or two sentences, I am looking for a sugar daddy to spoil me and take care of me and introduce me to the finer things in life. I want fine wine and fine dining. Oh, what is this obsession with single young females and wine? They have an obsession with wine and an obsession with dinner. Like they never get to eat, like they're starving in America. I've seen many obese people when I leave the house and I go shopping. American females are not missing that many meals. Believe me. They're not. They're definitely not. Yeah, there's just an obsession with wine and dinner, wine and dinner, wine and dinner. Now, if they're older, because I do not want to just pick on the younger ones. If they're older, they would say, "I'm looking for a chivalrous gentleman that knows how to treat a lady." Ugh. Those are the older ones. That means they want a sucker. That means they want to bait a sucker. So that's an older gold digger, okay, who hit the wall, is past the wall. Even if she's good looking, she was most likely a high sexual market value young female, but now she is a post-wall middle-aged female that still wants some sucker to do everything for her, pay off all her debts, support her ass, buy her the fine wine, champagne, the dinner, maybe even pay her rent, utilities, cable bill, phone bill, internet, pay for everything. And if he's a real high income or wealthy sucker, he will pay off her student loan, because women who have like more than 2/3 of the student loan debt have it because they get these grants or student loans, and they pick these ridiculous, obscure careers that are not in demand. There is no real logical, practical job market for the courses that they choose when they ring up the student loan bill, when they go to college. All right. And the chances of them making a living wage when they graduate and getting placed in an entry-level job pertaining to what they're trained to do, whether it be in a tech school or a college, the chances of them getting that entry-level job and receiving a living wage so they can pay back this rip-off student loan in American academia is slim to none. It's slim to none. It's not going to happen. Sometimes the government websites lie. I had a person tell me that every night they were seeing advertisements from tech schools for medical billing and coding. High demand. So they went to the government website, and the government website says, It was in high demand. Guess what? When they graduated, it wasn't in high demand anymore. The joke was on them. They didn't get a job. They did not get an entry. There he is, Thomas Metal 75. Massachusetts Beer
I'm
Review.
finally here. Yeah.
The king of craft. The king of craft beer. Hold on, he deserves this.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, this guy's. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that didn't work.
He's got a whiskey glass.
I did a review earlier of this. I got a different beer. I did a review earlier of this Upland Brewing Company, their Darkin, their barrel-aged sour brown ale.
I
It was
like that.
9.1%, and it was bottled in July 2017. Pretty good stuff. Today, now I'm finishing up. Not much head on that beer. Weld Works Brewing Company. They're out of Greeley, Colorado. This is their coffee coconut stout with
Oh, that looks great.
toasted coconut, milk sugar, and Peruvian coffee.
That looks freaking awesome.
8%. And Dave, my buddy Dave, we were hanging out. He tried some of the beer, and what I said to him was, even after smelling it and drinking it, that this is like when you get either you get a barrel aged beer or you get some kind of an imperial stout. You do get a flavor of like a toasted coconut. But damn, if you really want toasted coconut in your beer, this thing is chock full of that toasted coconut flavor.
I love coconuts. Unlike Yosemite Sam in that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he hated coconuts, I love coconuts.
No, but this one's good for the coconut, definitely. Coconut, lots of dark chocolate, lots of medium towards full roasted. Coffee in the nose. And definitely you're getting the milk lactose sweetness with toasty coconut and a lot of the dark roasted coffee maltiness. So if that is your game, I don't know how I get this beer in my area, but if that's your game, you want to find Weld Works Brewing Company and their what is it called? Coffee Coconut Stout. Bam, that's at least a 90. That probably is a 95 out of 100 for a stout, for imperial stout. Only 8%, so pretty good stuff.
That is awesome. That is definitely a winner. And actually, all of your beers, ales, IPAs, what have you, stouts, porters are all winners. Thomas Metal 75 has access to great New England beers. He has fantastic sources up there. And
or Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado. Massachusetts Beer Review. Check him out. He's both on YouTube and Facebook. Thomas Metal 75, Massachusetts Beer Review. He has a group, and he is the founder, the original founder of Wild Card Wednesday. But
Wild Card Wednesday, yeah.
He has band practice on Wednesday now, so
some Wednesdays I do this Wednesday. Typically, we try to keep that to Sundays as much as possible.
Sunday has there's a stout Sunday in the morning, kind of early.
Yeah, that would have been a good beer for that. Yep. That's John Anile. Type in John Anile. He has Georgia Beer Reviews. He's a knowledgeable person, and he will drink most of you under the table. Well, probably. Yeah, he will. Whew.
He does the Georgia Beer Reviews, John Anile, and very knowledgeable. And also, I am a big fan of the Whiskey Scout from Kansas. He's very informative. When it comes to hard liquor, he's extremely informative. Yeah.
So what's cool is those people, John Anile and the Whiskey Scout. I don't want to say Jay Terrio, just dropping names alone, but he is the one that's been doing a lot of the examinations, getting people together initially in the world. And some of these people, like a Whiskey Scout and definitely a John Anile, I forget when he started to come on the scene, but those kind of people were just watching were just the beer fans, whether it's macro or craft. They were just the beer fans watching these YouTube live shows, and then after talking to these guys on the live shows, getting their interest and saying, "Don't be afraid to show up and join." That's how we get new people involved, and people that you see now are a result of that on a lot of the live examination
Well, they
shows on
originally
YouTube.
came from Google Hangouts. They eventually progressed to Google Hangouts, and then Google Hangouts, was terminated by Google, and now we have
to go live straight to YouTube. That got terminated. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that part. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so you can still do a Google Hangout, or you can do a Facebook Messenger group hangout, but it's not a live stream show.
Yeah, correct. So you can go on Google Hangouts in the same fashion that it was in the past, where you can have up to 10. You can have as many people as you want on a chat group, just like with Facebook. But with the groups themselves, you weren't going, especially with the Google Hangouts things. You aren't they don't have the ability to go live on that platform straight to YouTube anymore. So you have to use what we're doing, that thing over here, which is the StreamYards. So you have to have the 20. You have to have so the number 20 is important. So if you don't have an actual paid, whatever it is, a month account with StreamYard, you're limited to 20 hours of streaming per month in a free platform.
Which is not bad if you do, like, if you have really good topics to discuss at every live show. It could be done, and having up to 6 people on the show by way of video is not that bad either, because when you have more than that, like Ronald J. Theriot says, it's like being a switchboard operator. It's not easy, and then you have people talking at the same time, and you don't really learn anything from as compared to a structured show. Like here, this is easy. It's me and you. Like before, Michael Hilton was with me for the first half of the show, and Michael had to go to CBS. He's coming back, and he's going to hope that he could find us online. Maybe he will. He just had to go to CBS, and he did a review of this wheat beer, and he did a review of the frozen pizza he was eating. So then we had a really great red pill discussion, advice for guys. It was mostly male-woman relationship. It was we didn't get any nutrition or exercise advice, but it was red pill, and he contributed to that splendidly. And hopefully we'll see him back soon. But Thomas Metal 75, besides being a master craft beer reviewer and enthusiast, he is also currently the drummer for a great heavy metal rock band called Oxblood Forge. And Oxblood Forge was recently, the last gig was in Salem, Massachusetts, right? The last gig?
Yeah, that was at the beginning of, that was January 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
Right now, today, it's still Friday here in the Northeast. Today and tomorrow, but today we went back to, I did not go and join. I'm trying to keep it very productive, so I didn't join. We are in the studio currently doing we're recording a 6-song album, EP, whatever you want to call it, and our guitar player was going in to start the recording process for the guitar tracks today.
Oh, wow. And you would tell
hopefully sometime in early to mid summer, an album will be close to, or should hopefully be released.
It'd be great. The first Oxblood Forge music video.
That would be nice to do something like that. We would love to do something like that with somebody that knows how to assist and help us with that.
As long as the camera in that music video zooms in on you playing the drums.
At some point, that would be good.
That would be good. And that would really be a boost for the band.
We got my uncle in Glendale, Arizona, Glendale, California, out in the LA County. He does photography, but he also does a lot of freelance artwork. So he does a lot of artwork he's done a lot of artwork in the past for science fiction novelists and authors. And so what he'll do is he's working with us. So what he does typically is we'll give him a concept of what you want. He'll drop a sketch of that concept and get a little bit more detailed in the second little bit of the sketch. And then what he's going to do is he's going to find somewhere in LA County. I think he's already got somebody in mind for our album artwork to do some modeling for that, and he'll do some photography with the person in mind as part of the album art, and he'll use that, and then he'll use that piece of photography as part of he'll use that photography for developing the artwork further, and he'll go from there with it. So hopefully that is going to turn out really, really awesome.
Oh, yeah. That should be really great to look forward to. And too bad I'm not up there because I have a really good Sony camera, 18.3 megapixels, and it takes awesome video and photos. And like if you guys had a specific gig like you did in Salem, I would just video the whole thing and put it on YouTube. Oxblood Court, in this, I always plug the bar restaurant that the rock band is in. The last time I did that, I didn't have the Sony camera. I had a Samsung, but I was filming a band called Cooper's Dignity that I mentioned.
Okay.
The lead singer had the Italian puppet with the wooden spoon.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was like making believe the puppet was singing, but he was singing, and he had a pirate patch on, one eye.
Yeah.
And it was very unique. And the drum. Ooh, he'll be back. He must have hit the wrong button. Eric. Maybe. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Fat Fingers. I was trying to find the name of this. The only other thing I've done since going and playing that Salem, Massachusetts show and going to the studio is the other day, what was it, Monday, maybe? Monday? I think it was Monday. We were featured on I think it was called Earth Rock Radio? That's Earth Radio, I think is what it's called. They are out, they're an internet radio station out of the state of New Mexico. I don't recall how we got our stuff on that radio station, but they tagged us on Facebook that they're going to play a whole bunch of these bands, including us. And then every time they played another band, they tagged that band on Twitter, and then they hashtagged the name of our song. So we had actually 2 songs on Monday night on their Earth Rock Radio, internet radio station out of New Mexico.
Wow, that's cool.
I guess. We've been on internet radio, I believe, in France, Germany, Australia, the UK, I think.
Now, I have a podcast program on my iPhone that is really pretty good, because when you set up a show, a podcast radio show, they actually play it on different websites for you, and and it doesn't cost anything. The only problem is that the person, the guest, has to download on the app also. It's not like live stream where anybody could click on the link if they get the link and be a guest. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Look what we got here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got Pacifico. I got Pacifico back there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Death by King Cake. We got some
Wow.
New Belgium. Those are the beers in the New Belgium.
Come on.
Fast hard coffee. We talked about that the other day.
Yes.
Diet Coke ginger. That's not beer. That's not beer. That's not beer. Genesee cream ale, people.
Hey,
there you go. Cheap.
One of the greatest banks for the buck going.
You want Trillium? There's a Trillium. Ooh. You want some Rolling Rock? There you go. You want a Trogs Nugget Nectar? There you go. I need something else. There's a Cisco Grapefruit IPA called Grippa. Grippa. You got the Grippa.
Grippa.
Maybe I'll drink some cheap foul beer. You want a cheap foul beer? All right.
Well, you drank stout, so you might want an IPA or a lager or something.
I got you I got the lager beer right here for you. Let's flip it around. I'm not even going to clean that glass out of the stout. We'll just go with that. I assume the panel that's hopefully watching. Are you watching, panel? Good. The craft beer guy is going to show you craft beer from the Anheuser-Busch Brewing Company at 5.5% alcohol by volume in a nice clear bottle. Bud Ice. Whoa.
Oh, that's something Damien Owens would like.
Wait a minute. Keep it out of the light.
Uh-oh. Bud Ice.
There's a light right there. It's below that is the pool table. Oh, twist top. Smoke a little bit.
There we are. Hey, you never
in
know.
a tulip glass, because why the hell not? I should clean that glass, but whatever.
Yeah, I broke many of my tulip glasses because I keep them in the freezer and they're thin, they're thin, the glass.
Somehow I went to the liquor store the other day and they had singular bottles of Bud Ice lying around. I don't know if maybe they had a case that they bring in, or they had 6-packs and the packaging fell apart and broke or whatever. Now they have loose bottles lying around. But I mean, it's good. It's good for the. I won't go into real detail, but it's good for an ice lager. Which, if anybody doesn't know what the hell an ice lager is, it's the Germans discovered basically the technique by accident, which is you basically freeze a beer. Anheuser-Busch says they have an exclusive ice brewing process. To freeze beer is not exclusive to anybody. You freeze the beer, and then what happens is there's a layer of ice crystals that form at the top of the beer, whatever the receptacle is that the beer is being housed in. You skim the top off of that beer because the alcohol or the ice crystals will float to the top and the alcohol won't. So you're skimming off all that water, and then you can basically undergo that freezing process however many times you deem is necessary to try to acquire the necessary alcohol by volume that you're trying to go for. So that's a way to do it. But I think German breweries and brewers eons ago were doing this with like Doppelbocks. So they create a style by accident called Eisbocks, which are probably 10+% alcohol by volume. You freeze in a Doppelbock, and then you keep skimming off the ice crystals, and you keep refreezing and doing that process to get high alcohol by volume content. But this is only a mere 5.5%. So not the biggest beer, but if you're uneducated about the beers, maybe this is a an imperial beer in your repertoire. Kind of like a malt liquor, but not quite as like grainy and cloyingly sweet, but it's kind of along those lines. The American and I guess Canadian ice brewed kind of beer.
Wow. So that you got some education, people, as to what an ice beer is. So it has generally a higher alcohol content, like right below a malt liquor, between a beer and a malt liquor.
Yeah, if you like, yeah, it's way different than the stout. Way different. I wasn't really going to go into detail, but definitely more, this one, definitely more corn, syrupy, sweet oriented. I mean, if you like the flavor of malt liquors, 45, what's the other big one? Old English 800.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to like ice beer probably. It's not quite as intense as something like a 8% Steel Reserve 211, but similar-ish flavor. So,
Oh, okay.
I guess not crafty beer, but when you want a beer, there you go. It's plain old beer. More of an edge.
Okay, so that's what ice beer is, and the first ice beer I ever had was Molson Ice, and
That's my favorite one. Yeah,
I think that is. I'm going to take a guess and say that's one of the finest ice beers.
that's what I would say. I think that one's done pretty well. I think so. I think that's only a product of the United States. I think they make it at the Coors Brewery here in the United States in Colorado. I don't even think they sell that in Canada. Ooh. Canadians don't want that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain Canadian beers that I thought were very good that I don't even see anymore, like Moosehead. Yeah, that's another brand. Moosehead, Grizzly, as well as the Molsons, the Golden and the Ice and so on and so forth. But I'm sure there are others that don't even get exported.
Yeah, I think there's one called Kodiak. Laker Lager, which is this like cheap, which is kind of like in your, maybe it's even more sub premium, or maybe it's even more sub cheap than below the cheap level of like a Bush or a natural product. Oof, I can't even imagine that. Why would you buy that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I don't. First
Laker Lager.
The macro companies like Anheuser-Busch, like what the debate I was having with Damian Owens is, he says, look, they're making craft beers now. Look at the ingredients. I go, do you think I believe the ingredients coming from a big corporation like that there's no chemicals in a macro? I don't believe it. I said,
I don't believe it with the beer that I'm drinking, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many craft beers. Every state must have at least several breweries. There's just so many. It's so saturated, and the competition is so fierce that there's just so much to choose from. And there are local microbreweries that's like the ones over here that just sell out their inventory, and they don't have enough to bottle because they sell out right at the location, at the brewery itself. People go there, they have events, and they just sell out completely. Like when you were in Salem, the Salem brewery, you don't see that in bottles anywhere. But they're thriving. They're thriving. They're thriving.
You got to be real wary. I mean, I guess there are a lot of crafty breweries that are doing like what do they call them? Premium lagers. The that kind of color beer is becoming a little bit of a trend from the craft breweries. But for like Anheuser, there's the Anheuser-Busch little logo there. When those kind of style beer breweries are putting on their bottles and their cans that word premium,
Ugh.
you have to wonder. No, you don't have to wonder. You can pretty much guess. Oh, Anheuser-Busch said it's premium. It's probably not. No, nothing premium about. There's nothing really premium about what I'm drinking. You can say it's a little bit cloyingly sweet for most people, and it probably is a little too sweet for most people. But premium is a relative term to get you to think that, oh, you're drinking a quality product. And that's what you're doing. You're buying ice beer because it's quality. You're not buying ice beer because it's quality, I bet.
Yeah, well, some people buy for the alcohol content. To get the buzz. Get the buzz. They buy for the buzz, but they don't buy. They don't really taste it. They guzzle it like Homer Simpson and buy for the buzz. Yeah, like compared to when all the shows that you've done, you actually smell and taste and dissect the flavors and the ingredients plus your perception of the ingredients. Then there are the beers like that the drink and puke kids on spring break.
Unfortunately, there you go.
And the rednecks, they got the pickup truck going, and they're going down the cheap
NASCAR beer. NASCAR beer.
NASCAR.
I like NASCAR, but NASCAR beer.
Yeah, NASCAR beer. Well, you know what?
Plus Budweiser.
It's good to see. Oh yeah, Budweiser or
what's big in the Midwest? Schmidt's beer. Something like that. Or Pennsylvania.
I remember Schmidt's. Holy.
I don't, but I've seen and heard about it. Apparently, they still make it, but it's got to be regional to the area where it was first popularized.
Now to take a walk down memory. Hold on. Memory Lane. I remember Rheingold being the sponsor for the New York Mets, and they went out of business, and they just poured many thousands of gallons down the New York City sewer.
Ooh.
Instead of giving it away, they just poured it into the sewer. Those rats must have been drowning in the most alcohol. The most pleasurable drowning that any creature could have. Anyway, I never tasted Rheingold, but you could find the old Rheingold labels online, and then there was what's the word? Schaefer. They became sponsors for the Mets. I know the jingle.
And New England Patriots.
Huh?
And the New England Patriots for a while.
Oh, Schaefer, really?
Yeah, we had I think before Foxborough Stadium was a thing in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots still play, but they have the Gillette Stadium after Foxborough Stadium was demolished. I think they had a stadium called Schaefer Stadium.
Was that back in the Jim Plunkett days?
I think so. I think it was. I think that must have been the 70s and the early to mid 80s, I think.
Yeah. That's when they had that real cool logo on the helmet with the Revolutionary War guy down with the football. Yeah. I like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was crouched down, getting ready to
ready in the scrimmage. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Ready in the line of scrimmage.
The line of scrimmage, and of course, he had a mad look on his face because he was playing football.
Because he was sponsored by Schaefer beer. He loved that beer so much.
I always wondered what on the Buffalo Bills helmet, what that thick red line that goes back is.
Buffaloes must run fast. I don't know.
must be like the Flash. With well, the one helmet I don't understand is the Cleveland Browns. They look like tomatoes running around the field. They got
I
nothing.
don't know what a Cleveland Brown is, except for a character on Family Guy.
They got no. They.
No. I don't know. My name is Cleveland Brown. I'm coming to your town. What the hell? The Cleveland Brown show? The Cleveland show?
That's so boring. I had to change it with the bear.
I'm going to your town. My name is Cleveland Brown. What the fuck?
Yeah, the talk.
Oh, look at that at birth fluid. Oh my God, no. That is pizza grease, everybody. That my buddy Dave brought out some pizza. That was greasy stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah,
tons of bacon, tons of pepperoni, tons of cheese, and he goes, "Oh, guess what? There's no pizza sauce." I'm like, wait a minute. This is just crust, cheese, and meat. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, red-blooded American. All right.
Crust, cheese, meat.
Crust, cheese, pepperoni, bacon.
Well,
that's it.
That's right. Brian was the talking dog that hung out with Stewie, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Well, Quahog was the name. Quahog.
Quahog is the name of the town. Not a real town in Rhode Island. However, two little stories on that, which is where they live on that show, the Griffins. There's a skyline in the background of their house that is exactly reminiscent of a actual skyline of the town from the town of Cranston, Rhode Island, which borders the state capital in Rhode Island, Providence.
Oh.
And I actually used to be in a band. I forget when I ended up leaving that band. It must have been 2010, 2013, maybe. I actually practiced on a street in Cranston called Spooner Street, which is in Quahog, where the Griffins lived, and it looked absolutely nothing like the show and the street. Nothing like it. But it was Spooner Street, based off of where they lived in Quahog. I don't know where they got that from, but it was a run-down, nasty little street.
Nope. What about the drunken clam? Their favorite.
The drunken clam. I've never. You know what? I actually think there is a drunken clam in Rhode Island, down south on the Narragansett Bay. I don't think it has actually anything to do with Family Guy, but I believe there is a drunken clam in Rhode Island. Yeah, I think so.
Funny. And Glenn.
Oh my God! Cheap beer makes you cheaply burp. Oh my God.
Glenn, the player next door.
Quagmire. Oh, that little pedophile. He's a pedophile. Well, no, he's just he's a touchy-feely Joe Biden kind of dude.
Now,
and then you, I can't even do the old man whistle. And then you got Herbert the pervert. Hey, Paperboy, where's the news?
Remember when he was fighting with the old?
You want to come inside? I got popsicles.
What? Yeah, he was fighting with the Nazi. Yeah, I remember that with the walkers. And then remember
he
when
dressed up like a woman once and sang to Stewie, and he sang to Chris Griffin. One of the creepiest episodes on that whole show. Is that old pervert dressing up as a woman singing to Chris like he wanted to have sex with him?
Yeah, that was
holy gross.
Remember all the?
Well, I mean, you have that, and then you have little newborn babies in a dumpster hanging off of umbilical cords, being called prom night dumpster babies.
I remember
that. Wow.
Remember all the naked Asian girls ran out of Glenn Quagmire's house? They're like,
and he's like running after them, trying to speak in Korean or whatever it is.
Yeah, he was a pilot, so to speak.
One day he came out of his house and he was unshaven, but he had this giant jacked one arm. What was he doing in that house? Hey, Peter, what's going? Oh, what are this giant? I don't know. I was
Now, which
masturbating all day.
show had that male go-go bar? Was a sausage party or sausage club, or it was
Something like that. Yeah,
it was a cowboy
that was
riding a hot dog.
that was he was voiced by Patrick Warburton, I believe, and his wife, I forget the name of his wife on the show, was voiced by Jennifer Tilly, which she was in some famous. Was she in one like Bride of Chucky or some famous
Really?
horror movie? I forget. She was like this big chested woman. Holy crap!
So that was
Bride of Chucky, yeah. The Family Guy, yeah.
Family Guy, American Dad. You know,
Hey.
an old friend of mine who died. He did commercial voiceovers. He naturally had a voice like this. Hi, my name is William. I still have a video of him. Hi, I'm William Morrow. It was like naturally deep. It was like deeper than Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, much deeper. But that's how he talked, and he got a lot of girls based on his voice. He looked like Stan Smith, Agent Stan Smith, with the chin, the same face, the same to the T. It was like he looked just like him, and he used to get embarrassed because people would you look just like Agent Stan Smith. But unfortunately, William H. Morrow III didn't listen to me about quitting cigarette smoking, and he was eventually a victim of cigarette smoking. May he rest in peace. But getting back to Joe Biden, when he was talking about the hair on his legs turning blonde and kids he would like to rub it and the kids are going up and down. How come the media and how come they didn't harp all over him for that? Like they talked about it for a little bit and then they
get all up in Mike Bloomberg's face. I'm not trying to say because I'm not trying to say I'm a fan of one over the other. I'm a fan of neither, but everybody gets on Michael Bloomberg's case. I know he's not in the race anymore, but still, everybody got on Michael Bloomberg's case about how he treated women or his jovial, joking nature as the head of his corporation, Bloomberg, and making pulling jokes with the female employees and them not taking too fond of it, and talking about having to sign on disclosure agreements so that the women that work for him said that, everything's okay, but we don't have to talk about it. However, then he still put out however many millions or close to $1 billion of all these ads of various women that did work for his corporation, and said, he really fostered my development at the company. He was very receptive of what we were doing as women in the corporation. But where did that lead him in the race? Right down the dumps, and he spent over probably $900 million on his ad campaign. I'm sure he's gonna love 2021. We've got to file the taxes on that, but it's probably chump change for a multi-billionaire.
Who was the guy that got in trouble at Fox? Was that like Bill Ayers or something?
Yeah, Richard Bill Ayers, something like that. Yeah,
like they purposely or deliberately hire large-breasted, good-looking women.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they deliberately hire these women. They do the same thing on the Latin Telemundo, on the Latin station.
Oh my dear Lord, yeah.
The news girl, she's like Sofia Vergara, and good, attractive face, tight outfit, cleavage, big breast. Now, how are you supposed to work with women like that and look at them in the eye and talk to them and not gravitate downward and not flirt ever, not joke around ever, and you have to see this day in and day out, and and they know when they put on their clothing, they know it's for attention or ratings. They know what they're doing. You know,
Yep.
it's like everybody has to walk on eggshells. It's a neoliberal, feminazi, double standard bullshit is what it is.
It's supposed to be double standard, but it never really ends up being that way.
Yeah, like these women called me a misogynist because I says, well, you know, you single mothers that let your young daughters go to school dressed that way, they're only looking for trouble. They're not going to get positive attention. They're going to get negative attention. Oh, how dare you criticize my parenting? You're a misogynist. I says, so you're playing the gender card. See, that's what people do. When they hear something that hits a raw nerve that they don't want, something they play the card. And like I was talking about, I think I was talking about this before Michael Hilton came or during, I forgot. But anyway, I showed Jay Terrio this when I did Absolute Vodka during Thundering Thursday. The first page that appears on the Absolute Vodka website is something that it was really none of their damn business. They were lecturing to men saying, now get this, if you buy a woman a drink, this does not mean yes to sex. If you buy a woman a drink, that does not mean she owes you sex. Now, first of all, it's not the government's business to do this. It's not society, and it's not a company or corporation's business. It is between two consenting adults. If one buys the other cocktails and even dinner, could be a steak dinner. All right. If the person throws it up to your face that, well, you know, you kind of like owe me a little payback there, sweetie pie. It's between the both of them. It's up to the other person, male or female, to say, look, I don't do those things. I'm not that kind of person.
Right.
But you know what? If it bothers you that much, I'm going to pay for my half of the date. Yeah, what do I owe you for the drinks and the steak dinner? All right, here, boom. Now that's it. I pay my way, you pay your. We went Dutch. Nobody owes anybody any favors. But to have a company or to have a government or a politician lecture, it's a liquor company. It's a website that is supposed to be there to tell you about their product and to sell it, not to lecture men. Oh, if you buy a woman a cocktail, that doesn't mean yes to sex. I couldn't believe it. And I know this is feminist pressure that made them do this, but it's the first page on their website. Like right after they ask you if you're of legal drinking age, I think, and then this page comes up where they're giving men this lecture about that. I talked about that. I'm not good at screen saving. I don't know how to bring up the page because I saved it and I cropped it. But I have to learn how to do screen saving like Jay does. I did.
Oh yeah.
I put it on Progressive Discussions with commentary. I screen saved it. I didn't have to enlarge it because it was big, and then I cropped it and I showed that it came from the Absolute company, and that's that. You know, so I did cover a lot of subjects with Michael Hilton, and I appreciated him coming aboard. But yeah, the Joe Biden thing. That video I sent you compiling all of Joe Biden's blunders, stuttering and stammering, and then the thing about his hairy legs turning blonde and children, that was creepy. And he really is showing signs of mild dementia. Without a doubt, even though the powers that be, the oligarch, likes him, I guess he's an easy puppet for them. You know, Howard Stern admitted. Howard Stern knows Donald Trump very well. He says Donald Trump really hates the bullshit that goes with being president of the United States.
Of course he does.
He's not having fun. He's not used to that crap. He doesn't like it. He likes the game of winning. He loved the campaign and the idea of winning. That's what Donald Trump really loved. The win, the success. But anyway, getting back to the ice.
Yeah, after I mean, if you start with that beer and you're drinking this style of beer over the course of a night, sure, yeah, it's good and it's fine in its class and category after having, I don't know, after having a barrel-aged sour brown ale and Trogues Nugget Nectar, which is a hoppier version of an imperial red ale, and drinking stuff like a Trillium and then those juicy beers and then going something like this, it just, I don't know, it just kind of tastes sweet, grainy, corn syrupy, artificial. It tastes good for what it's attempting to do. Don't get me wrong on that. I don't want to give it all negatives, but if we're putting it in the context of what I would typically like to drink, not very great. I would just probably stick to, I don't know. What would I stick to if I wanted to? I would just probably just drink Genesee Cream Ale if I wanted just like the cheapest of cheap beer without any backwash, after-tasty kind of
Genesee
kind of
Cream
stuff.
Ale
Or just for the style, again, you said it earlier, I would just, for ice beer, I would just drink Molson Ice. I find that to be a really good beer that doesn't have any of that. You put a Ziploc bag of ice in the freezer, and then 4 days later you take it out and you let it melt, and then you put it in a glass and you drink it. That's kind of the aftertaste of something like that. But Genesee Cream Ale, like 13 or so 99 for a 30-pack, like $3.99 for a 6-pack of most of the Genesee beers. It's a pretty good deal for basically inoffensive beer. I mean, I'm sure you can find something that's inoffensive about it, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not much inoffensive about that beer. It's just pretty neutral tasting.
Yeah. How is Rolling Rock? Do you like
Rolling
it?
Rock is fine. I got a couple of cans of that in the refrigerator. It's like 11, maybe 50 for an 18-pack, but that's a 4.4% beer, and it's got a lot of watery mouthfeel and body to it. So pretty light, easy drinking, and it's got a lot more calories than a light beer. So you're getting the 4.4% alcohol, but you're getting a fuller, if that makes any sense, tasting and flavored kind of beer.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit more full.
I mean, Genesee Cream Ale has to be the very best bang for the buck. I mean, I only pay like $4.50 for 6 bottles. You can't beat that. It's cheaper than Miller. It's cheaper than all the macros that nationally advertised macros, and it tastes great. And the brewery website looks good. And you've been there.
I've been to the brewery. I went there last October. Was it last October, 2 Octobers ago? Yeah, it's a pretty cool place to go. However, they're based out of Rochester, New York, in upstate New York. However, they don't do any tours of their actual brewing facility. It's a big complex that they have over there in Rochester for brewing. I mean, unless you're going to Genesee, or I don't even know what else is going on over there in Rochester. To me, there's not like a whole bunch. I stayed there for a day or two in that town, Rochester. I'm not knocking anybody from that town, but there's not a whole bunch to really do in Rochester. You're using that as a basis for getting to here, there, over there for wine country and whatnot.
So it's it's a one-horse town.
Pretty much was there, yeah.
And is it far from the? It's probably far from the Finger Lakes, where the Taylor wine is from.
Not. We went to that region. We went towards. I was trying to think of this a couple weeks ago when we were on a live stream. We were in the Seneca. We were going towards. We were in the Seneca Lake. The family and I were in the Seneca Lake region. Okay. So we started in. So we went from where I live here in southeastern Massachusetts up onto the Massachusetts Turnpike to go west towards the New York border, and then from there we went down to a town called Corning, New York, and that's a really cool town if you want a town to walk around in and see things and try wine and find out a bunch of restaurants, and it's a nice place to visit. That's a cool place to go. And then you can just keep, and it's right on Seneca Lake, and you can just keep following that and find all these different vineyards. And there are some breweries, and some of the vineyards actually have breweries on premise. And then we get into the Glen Falls area, and then we eventually get over to Rochester. But I forget, it's maybe a half an hour, 35 minutes, no more than 40 from maybe going from Glen Falls to around the Rochester, New York area. So not that far away, but you got to make a little excursion outside of that area to get to over there. I mean, primarily we're going for Genesee beer, and we were trying to go to Dinosaur Barbecue, but forget trying to get into that place. In Rochester, it's a big to-do place. But yeah, trying to go to Genesee Brewery, that was good. However, like I was saying, it's a big facility. They got a lot of different buildings in their complex. However, and even Jay Terrio said that when he went there with a old beer tuber friend of his, and I agree with it, you can't get any tours of any of their facility. They basically have a restaurant and a storefront where you can buy beer and buy merchandise, and you can get these 32-ounce cans called growlers filled, or crowlers, 32-ounce cans, they fill them. And then they have a restaurant up top of the building, and you can try all their different beers they have on tap, all the normal stuff. And then they have brewery exclusive stuff. They have, I'm trying to remember what it's called, I forget what it's called. They have a line of sort of pseudo craftier beer styles that they do. All of it's pretty good, and it's relatively well priced. So, I mean, I would say your cheap beer brand, it's gotta go to Genesee if you want the decent tasting beer at its price point.
Well, I didn't realize Rochester was that close to Glen Falls, because I used to go.
Yeah, it's not that far away. Yeah.
I mean, I used to go ice fishing at Lake George, which is just north of Glen Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lake Champlain is north of.
It's definitely not an hour away from Glen Falls.
Yeah, because New York State is huge. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I've been to Montreal, but at the time I was in Boston, Salem area, and we had to drive through New Hampshire, Vermont to get to Montreal that way. Normally, we were supposed to go right to Montreal. You take the New York State Thruway.
You do that,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a border. There's somewhere in the border of Vermont. There's somewhere that the Vermont state line borders Quebec going into Montreal. Yeah, the only time I've ever been to Montreal, I just went from Logan Airport in Boston right to Montreal. And you got to do the customs thing, and you never know if they're going to look at your passport and just randomly, for random sake, go, "Oh, you got to go to the back of the line." Like, "Oh, what did I do? I don't know. All right, I got to go to the back of the line because I'm going to do something." Right? Okay.
Yeah. It's on the St. Lawrence River, and there's a casino. There's a little island with a casino off of Montreal, and believe it or not, they have a Chinatown. They have an Italian section.
I remember the Chinatown.
Yeah, they have them.
Walk around in there. I remember.
It's never in the Italian section, but I was in the Chinatown.
Yeah, that's where they have the what do they call it? Did they call it the Olympic Park? That's where
Expos.
that's the stadium where the Expos used to play, and
Yeah.
I forget. I'm a little clueless about this at this point, but I think they used it. I think they use it for their MLS, their Major League Soccer team in Montreal, and they might use it for concerts and stuff. But I think other than that, they don't really use it for anything. And it was this big. I remember doing a little tour of Montreal on a bus or whatever, and they were talking about, I forgot how much money they spent on this Olympic Park stadium where the Expos played, but they spent so much money and they lost almost $1 billion or whatever it was, and they lost all this money. It's such an innovative, for the time, such an innovative stadium. It had a retractable roof, and it had some kind of monorail. I forget what it is. You can see it all the time, even nowadays. I don't know if it's a monorail, whatever it is. This little cable car that goes up and down the entire length of the outside of the stadium. It's on this angle, and it goes up and down all the time. And there's like all this cable and pulley systems on. I'm like, oh, this thing is complex. And right across the way is where I think it's where they do have it's like an F1 racetrack. So they actually allowed the tour bus or whatever it was that we were on to actually go on that F1 racetrack, and we just went around they used to go around this whole thing. It's one of those road courses kind of things. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the French Canadians did not take to baseball that well. Originally, they had a place called Jarry Park, and then they built the new stadium that you mentioned. But they're like the Canadians, the hockey team.
Yeah, it was in an. I'm not saying that negatively. It was in an interesting area. I mean, it was right off of one of their subway station stops, so it was easy to get to. I don't really recall what the parking situation was. I think it had a pretty giant parking lot, if I remember correctly. But it was sort of close to that. It was more on the side of Montreal towards where that casino is. Mm-hmm. It was more on that side. So like Montreal or where we stayed was downtown. So downtown's over here. You got to go all the way from downtown. Maybe the park's over here. Maybe there's water this way, and then maybe over here somewhere then there's that other island sort of area where that casino-ish place is. Mm-hmm. It's everything so kind of disconnected, and you talked about that. You have the St. Lawrence River that's in between one part of Montreal and then the downtownish area. They're not really connected. It's a pretty big town if you look at it. If you look at it on the map, Montreal's a pretty big city.
Yeah, it flows from the Atlantic Ocean into Lake Ontario, the St. Lawrence River. I was there with one of my exes. She was Hispanic. She was Colombian. They were very rude to her and her family, but they loved me. They all kissed my ass up there. They were like, really?
Yeah, I just noticed what I noticed most of all is, everybody pretty much, even if it was kind of broken, everybody kind of knew English regardless. But the further you get out of the town, the further you got out of the downtown of Montreal, the more, and then you're taking the train, their subway system, which is all done in French, so you better know what you're doing before you get on that train. The more you get into other parts of Montreal where you're trying to go, say to, like I was doing, going to some craft beer bars or a craft brewery. Dieu de Sel is one of the highest toted names in craft beer in Canada. Excellent shit. Good imperial stouts. But the more you got into that section of town where it was more not high rises, but it was more like, I guess, what would they call it in Europe, like flats and and apartments and those kind of style buildings, it almost felt like you were walking into a whole different country altogether. And less you started hearing English, and more you got this thick kind of French accent. And we went into the Due to Sell brewery, and it, again, really good stuff. And I knew, I had this feeling in the back of my brain. I heard all the French style accents, and they were talking to people, and I knew that I had this feeling like I knew they knew what English was. And I just got so like fed up with it, with trying to go, I want number 3 on your board for beer. I want 7 beer on your board. I just got fed up, and I'm like, where is the bathroom? And they go, oh, it's just over there. I'm like, thank you. I didn't want to sound like a tourist, but like, where's your fucking bathroom in English, please? Thank you.
Yeah, they have a place called Quebec City. They call it Quebec City. And they definitely have the countryside that we saw on the way to Montreal. And there were these very cute blonde-haired squeegee girls on the side, on the highway, squeegeeing cars. I said, you sure don't look like the squeegee people where I'm from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were the total opposite. They weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't panhandlers, or they weren't black. They weren't male. They weren't aggressive panhandlers. They were like, oh, we're just college girls, trying to make our way through to school. And I go,
sure, whatever you say, girl. Maybe true, maybe not.
No, I think they were using their good looks to get tips, like like a Hooters waitress.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they were squeegeeing cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing. My understanding is it's worse in Quebec, how we pronounce that damn name, Quebec City. It's even worse about their, not necessarily their usage of English, their tolerance for really wanting anything to do with the English language is my understanding is it's far worse in Quebec City than it is in Montreal. At least Montreal. Montreal is cool. I've never really. That's the only time I've ever been outside the United States, to be completely honest. But it was cool to even see that there were so many people that could use the French language just as interchangeable as English. Your heart. I mean, you're gonna find that in the United States. Don't get me wrong, but it's a English-speaking country. I'm not saying that from a political standpoint, or whatever. But it just is an English-speaking country. It's just way more acceptable that there's another language inside of Canada, and I think it's legalized in their constitution that everything has to be in English and in French when it comes to how do they put it, like things that coincide with the government, like all government signs, government papers and documentation have to be, and the laws have to be written in French and in English, and you're allowed to get it in either language if you need it in Canada, which is cool, if you need it.
Well, their English was excellent in Montreal, like you.
It wasn't that bad.
Like you noticed,
downtown in the financial area, English, they got that.
Remember the French Canadian song from South Park? French Canada is the best Canada. Remember that song? It was so funny. Episode.
French Canada is probably not the best Canada.
They want to secede. I know they want to secede, but can they survive on their own? Probably not. But
well, that part of Canada, was it the 90s? Was it the 80s? Maybe it was the 90s. They were seriously trying. Quebec, that province, was seriously trying to get a movement together to get themselves as their own country and secede from Canada. Obviously, that didn't really work. But they were They were trying to do that at one point. I don't know what they thought was going to happen with that, but all right.
It's like Texas wanting to secede from the Union.
Yeah, they had it a couple of years ago. Didn't they have it a couple of years ago that California had somebody in a group of people in California had an idea to actually break it up into 6 different states. And one of the different states was going to comprise just of Silicon Valley and all of that tech hub of California. They got a Northern California, Southern California. I forget what the other 3 were, but there's going to be one that was just called like Silicon. Silicon Valleys. Peaks in Silicon Valleys.
Yeah, because California is like so big that it's a multicultural regional state. It's just
It's hard.
Southern California is so different
from Northern.
Northern.
9 days are different. I've been to both. I had not been to Southern since 2000, probably.
Yeah,
it's so different than Northern California. They're not even anything alike. Nothing.
I've never been to LA, but I've definitely been to San Diego and and Baja. Yeah. And this town, the girl I was seeing lived in Chula Vista, which is a area not far from the border, south of San Diego. It's a lovely area. There's no mosquitoes. It's dry, warm and dry, and hot and dry, depending on the year. And Tijuana, there's an area where Americans can park their car on the American side and walk across to Tijuana. And we were looking. We were ready to come back to San Diego, so we were looking for the highway that led to the border. Where you wait online, the checkpoints. So we got lost, and everybody was very nice. I mean, as far as giving directions, and this man, this Mexican guy from Tijuana, says, "Follow me. I'm going to take you right to where you need to go to the border." And he went out of his way and drove us. We follow him, and the truck drivers, they slowed down. They flashed their lights. They let you pass them. They're all courteous. Cool. Yeah, everything was cool, and when you wait online on the Mexican side, all these people are selling great Mexican food and dessert, and they're coming up to your car. Would you like some tamales? Would you like some tacos? Would you like some flan pudding? Would you like this? Would you like that? I ate so much just by sitting in the car online, and it was all like from family-owned businesses. And she paid for everything. Yeah, try this. It's great. It's a specialty. California, Baja style this, the Baja style that. And then there was this corn concoction that was a dessert with, of course, corn. It was delicious. I mean, everything I had was great. So, and then, of course, in Baja, there was a lot of family-owned restaurants where we have breakfast and we have fantastic Mexican food. Cheap. But I was in the car. She says, "We're going to get through this fast because they're going to see you." Sure enough, flashlight in my face. They looked at my passport. "James, welcome back to the United States." They saw the gringo, So I had no problem. Yeah. So
see you home.
Yeah. Even the military checkpoints in Baja, the Mexican soldiers, of course. I mean, they have automatic weapons. Of course, they can look in the back of the vehicle, but they were all smiling, like but you should see how beautifully landscaped the military bases was, with cacti, all in blossom. All the cactus was in bloom. It was like, I said to him, "You know what? Your military base is actually prettier than Cabo San Lucas was. I wouldn't mind staying here and just like hike in the desert, just go hiking,
Man. Yeah.
They said, "Oh, really? You like it here? You like this?" I go, "I love it." I says, it's beautiful. It was like, that was the first time I saw the Sonoran Desert. That was my first experience. And I would have loved to go hiking, but she didn't want to go hiking. We went for like 20 minutes. She wanted to do the resort. We got to get to Cabo San Lucas. Resort. And what's at the resort? Tourist traps.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, just because something's a flea market, that doesn't mean you're going to save money there. So anyway, there was this crazy taco place with a cartoon of a taco. It kind of looked like the talking taco on South Park, the alien. Yeah, it was really a popular joint, and they in Baja they fish tacos are very popular. Then I found out the history. Japanese commercial fishermen used to come off the shore of Baja to fish with boats, and they introduced the locals to tempura deep frying, and that's how they learned how to make their version of fish and chips with the light tempura, probably panko breadcrumbs or some. Excellent, those fish tacos there.
Interesting.
Cool. Actually, all this talk later on, I got some Trader Joe's codfish nuggets that are predominantly cod with very little thin, crispy batter. Excellent.
Cape Cod, where the cod is. Yeah.
Cape Cod. I never had codfish from Cape Cod, but I did have something that was really wonderful. I had whole-bellied, deep-fried clam in Hyannis, Port Hyannis, which is the elbow pointing towards Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. Hyannis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You go over the Bourne River, and then there's a sandwich where they have the Sandwich Glass Museum. But that's
there's a town called Sandwich. Yep,
that's on the bay. That's on the bay side. And then Hyannis was south, and that's where you had no choice. That's where the ferry boats were to go to Martha's Vineyard and to Nantucket. Now, talk about a one-horse town, Nantucket. Unless you're
exactly never been, neither have I been to Martha's Vineyard, but that's what I understand. Go to the Black Dog. That's about it.
There's not much going on in Nantucket. If you want to get away from stress and you want peace and quiet, and you're with a very good-looking significant other, go to Nantucket. If you want to get away from crap. But
just go to Block Island if you ask me. I think the whole area of Rhode Island, I don't mean to sound like a broken record to anybody that knows that, but I think Rhode Island and going to the Bay and Newport or whatever is just a hidden gem. When you compare all the traffic and the congestion and the amount of people that go into the beaches and go to the Cape Cod over the summertime, just go a little bit more south to Rhode Island. You might like that. But if you really like seafood and stuff, the town on Cape Cod in Massachusetts is called Wellfleet. They do a lot of. They're very well known for oysters, and they're Wellfleet oysters. If you like oysters, that's the place to go get them in the Northeast, definitely.
I noticed New Bedford was really run down, even though Moby Dick was filmed there.
No, that's a fucking terrible, shitty town.
Yeah,
for the most part, there are places that are okay that I've somewhat frequent, but besides going to one particular venue to go to concerts, or one or two or three at the most different restaurants that are cool, and apparently their waterway and their marina, I forget who put out the list recently, but they're the most profitable. They're the most profitable seaport in the United States. Apparently, that's fucking nuts. They must just do a whole bunch of fishing and seafood industry that they make that much money. But damn.
Well, there was definitely a marina there.
Town, yeah.
There was a marina with a gorgeous nautical fountain that was an antique.
Yeah, I think I know where you're talking on the back of my brain.
Yeah, it's like almost like King Neptune with all the sea creatures.
Yeah, you go to New Bedford, you go to this town called Fall River. It's just, I don't mean anything negatively towards ethnicity, but it's just so run down, and every kind of walk of life is just living there, and it becomes sort of crime infested, unfortunately.
That's where Emerald Lugassi's from, Portuguese Emerald.
Yeah,
Emerald
he's from Fall River, I believe. Yeah,
from Fall River. I know John Cena's from Massachusetts too, but Westbury
Cena is from
or something.
something like that. Newton, I forget, somewhere north of that.
Yeah, I know Rocky Marciano's from Brockton. Brockton.
Yeah, they call Brockton the City of Champions. Well, it hasn't been the City of Champions since that. No, no, the company that I work at has, I was there the other day. The company that I work at, this 47 brand that makes headwear and apparel for, is a licensed sports apparel and headwear company. That we have a facility that we ship product from overseas vendors to their giant company, giant vendor, a giant warehouse. That's pretty much what we do there. That's pretty much why I would go there. I used to actually live in Brockton for a little while. But, I mean, yeah, better than or should I say, probably back in the day when it was the City of Champions, it might have been nice. But, yeah, it's not the nicest town in Massachusetts. No,
Yeah, with the Braintree, Quincy, of course, all the northern towns, Danvers, Peabody.
Yeah.
You know,
very nice.
That's on the way to Salem. Danvers, Peabody, Saugus.
Yeah, Peabody is, yeah. Peabody's, all right.
Saugus is Route 1. Route 1.
It's all right.
But they're all, America is really predominantly one-horse towns that are really not exciting with no nightlife. Or even the day life is not.
Yeah. There's nothing that this isn't. When you say Saugus, when you say Peabody, you say, what's the other one you say? You say Danvers. I don't really live in that part of the state, but you say those things, I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do there? Right? Yeah. I don't know.
Even Marblehead was kind of slow. Lynn was
maybe Gloucester, maybe perhaps you can talk me into Revere, but I would never go to Revere on my own accord unless I'm playing a concert at a venue my buddy I know books bands at. That would be the only time I would go to Revere.
Yeah, Lynn was run down. Lynn was a little run down.
Lynn is my mother's name. Lynn is got a very famous nickname. It's a phrase. They say, Lynn, the city of sin. Oh yeah.
Oh, now Revere was the first Kelly's famous roast beef was Revere.
Ravia. They say Ravia.
Ravia.
Some
my buddy Jeff Sambello.
Roast beef, right?
My buddy Jeff Sambello is from Boston, and he says, did you try a lobster? A lobster roll. Lobster.
No, but I've tried a lobster roll.
Lobster. Well,
lobster roll, fucking idiot, you guy. What the fuck is wrong with you? You gotta drink a Narragansett when you're eating your fucking lobster roll.
Clam chowder. Now, a chowder clam is a quahog. For those that don't know what quahog means, it's probably an Indian name. It's a full-grown clam, as opposed to a cherry stone and a little neck, which is a baby.
As opposed to Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. No, never mind.
Elizabeth Warren. You mean gooseneck? Gooseneck Warren?
What they have down below. Gooseneck. Ooh, boy. Wow.
If she has Native American blood,
thankfully.
If she has Native American blood, I'm next in line to be Pope in the Vatican.
Look, you and I and Damien, whatever, Owens, and Ron DeTerrio and name somebody else. Technically, we're Native Americans because, generations ago, yeah, somebody came over from a different country, but we're native to this country, so we're Native Americans, right?
I
Oh
was
no, I'm live on the air and I just said that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
born to be alive. That was a disco song. I know.
You were born in East LA. No,
Remember
born in
when
the US.
Cheech Marin was deported and he was born in East LA? No, I was.
That's the one that Cheech and Chong sang. But yeah, Elizabeth Warren. What did she do? She came in third. Was it third place in Massachusetts? As somebody called, as a Canadian beer reviewer from your Red Rooster group. I don't know if he's still a part of that. At one point in time, he called it the thing that I do, a Massa Two Shits beer review, and I'm going to use that one. As Elizabeth Warren couldn't even command our great state of Massachusetts. She was in third place. She finally acknowledged that she had to drop out of that race because she is not going to command the delegates. And Pete Buttigieg, as you like to say, he commanded more delegates. He had 26 by the time he dropped out. Elizabeth Warren wasn't getting that many.
And look at the credentials that Gooseneck Warren has over Buttigieg. Buttigieg was a moderately. I mean, he was just the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, but he wasn't even like a great mayor of South Bend. He was just, he just got by, and that's all he has in his is on his resume compared to Elizabeth Warren, who taught law at what do you call Ivy League college,
Harvard.
Harvard.
Like that?
She
was
taught
it Harvard. Yeah.
Taught law.
Harvard. No one says that in Massachusetts. Sorry. Anyway, yeah.
Harvard University, taught law there.
Yeah, nobody ever packed. Let me just say this disclaimer. There probably are parking lots where you park your car and then you go into Harvard University, but no one in the history of ever has parked the car in Harvard Yard. All right,
Parked the car in Harvard Yard.
No one's ever done that. What was I going to say? So, I mean, just there has to be some amount of bias, but I'm trying to not have any when I say when I say that part of my complaint with her and her being the one out of two senators and Ed Markey, little better, not much, is that she is just, and I said that to you on Facebook messaging chats recently, that part of the thing that gets me about her is that she's just like bitter and angry about almost anything, which can be good because you can spark a conversation. Your anger can spark conversations. I get it. I like the general premise behind being angry about something because then you can work on changing something. Sure,
well, I think I know.
Maybe that's her gig. However, she's just like bitter and angry about anything and anybody that's just slightly different than her. Anything slightly different, and especially when it comes to, I'm not even trying to be like an alpha male here, but especially when it comes to varying opinions on the opposite gender than you, it's like, oh my God, she's like the most. She's like the most feminist person I can think of in the face of the planet Earth that I know of, I can think of.
Amy Klobuchar also is very defensive when it comes to feminist issues because she's always mentioning, well, she's out now, but she's always mentioning the next president should be a woman. The next president will be a woman. It will be, and she see, I think Elizabeth Warren is that way concerning feminist issues and concerning men because I think she grew up in a house with all brothers.
Yeah.
And she had to deal with brothers from the South. She's from Oklahoma and originally, and how she ended up in Massachusetts, I have no idea. Maybe her husband, if she's married, is from there. And then like Nancy Pelosi's from Baltimore, and her husband's from San Francisco. So Elizabeth Warren had to grow up in a house full of brothers, male siblings.
Yeah.
So, she had to fight and scrap for attention and for everything. So she's bitter. She doesn't see. She doesn't have the sense of humor that Bernie Sanders has. Bernie Sanders will crack jokes as he's talking to people. He's actually quite funny. But Joe Biden, he tries to be funny, but he's weird. He's strange.
Yeah. So one of the biggest problems that I had a couple of years ago, and I just remember, I'll remember this for the longest time, was when Barack Obama was president the first time. It had to have been when he was president, not when Donald Trump was president.
Hillary was
when the United States was first in this within the last decade, was talking about getting into Syria and doing that whole thing, and are we voting yay or nay to? Is the Senate going to vote yay or nay to get into the military conflict and start dropping the bombs on Syria, whatever it was? Elizabeth Warren, I think, just said plain old no. So actually, she wasn't the biggest problem that I had. But our other senator, Ed Markey, I'm on my tablet now. I'm not playing video blackjack, but during the voting of are we going to drop bombs on Syria, you had one or two answers to that question when they called your name, yay or nay. He's on his iPad or whatever playing video blackjack. What was his answer?
Wow.
Present. I'm present. I'm here. And I wrote both of these people emails. Emails are the worst thing to do. You should handwrite that. And if you have enough to fucking say to somebody, like a fucking stamp and put it in the mailbox and send it to those fuckers. But I wrote them both emails, and they'll both come prefabricated from their interns, whoever the fuck writes those prefabricated letters that come back to you. But, I mean, it was just piss poor. It was a piss poor answer I remember getting from both of them, especially Ed Markey. And my whole thing to him was, we're voting to drop bombs on people and probably kill a lot of people. And all you happen to say was, well, I'm here. I showed up. I did my job for the day. No. Did you really do your job? There were two answers. Yeah, yes or no. Not, I showed up for the day, please. So what are you going to tell people? What are you going to tell people when let's say, I'm not saying on purpose innocent people get killed, but you can't just sit here and tell me that dropping bombs couldn't potentially happen. And your response to that is going to be, well, I didn't say yes, so therefore this is wrong. But you didn't say no. I'm much more for you when you say no for a real reasoning to violence against another nation.
Unfortunately, in a poor country like Syria, there was a lot of collateral damage and a lot
Still is, yeah.
Men, women, children.
Happened in Iraq, yeah.
Yeah, and like the biggest culprits as far as being evil goes has to be Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think in general, now you kind of jog my memory there. If you're not going to take, and I don't feel like that just makes me feel like with Ed Markey, for again, prime example, but Elizabeth Warren just egged me on with that one too. Like if you don't take your job seriously to even like pay attention to what the fuck's going on and what you're going to do about it, if you don't take it seriously, why did you even sign up to want to do this job in the first place? What's your real reasoning that you're here right now?
I mean,
just to appease establishment. There's other ways to appease establishment than to try to become a politician.
Well, they're on the take from the lobbyist. They meet with lobbyists and they get paid off. That's why they're there, most likely.
I don't have a problem with lobbyists. I mean, in general, the general practice of it's fine because everybody in their grandma, even if you bag groceries at a Kroger's, let's say, for example, you're working for some company and you want the interest of your company to be heard so that your company doesn't go bankrupt and then you don't have a job. Obviously, I get that. You want your company to thrive and survive. If the government and if the government can help that in any way to help your company survive so that you and your fellow employees have jobs, I get it. That makes sense. But at what expense do you want to do? Do you want to do that and piggyback everybody else? That's nothing to do with your problems, your concerns. You're just doing it for, like you said, for the money behind that. It's got to be for the money for the people that are working for these companies in order to keep their jobs. If that's what the lobbyists, which that's not happening 100%, but that should be the end result. Is our interests are to keep this company afloat so that people have jobs and that we can continue to maintain jobs and success or whatever it is. It's going to look good if the country has jobs and people are doing well. But if it's just so that we can just pay off X, Y, and Z, that shouldn't sit well with people. I mean, contrary to being a Republican and thinking what you want and like I am with the Republican ideals, but for the most part, but you have most people in the country are pretty much in favor, I would think, right? That most people in this country are like the capitalist kind of people where they want the free market enterprise and companies to be able to thrive and to be able to prosper. But then you have the lobbyists maybe that are trying to like go backdoor on that. So where do you draw the line on a lot of that?
Well,
how do you draw the line?
Taking bribes is definitely political corruption, which is the reason for most of our problems here in the United States. Like they tried to sell off our national parks to private interests, and which is horrible. It didn't really happen, but they tried to. And I bet they will continue to try to. That would be really terrible. And then, of course, there is the fact that they are paid off to give the top 1% a tax vacation and to have the middle class pay most of the taxes. The middle class are being strangled as it is, and I would give all the tax breaks to the middle class because that's the backbone of the American economy. That's the number one consumer, the number one job producer. Main Street, middle class is small. Middle class is not just a family that pays a mortgage in the suburbs. Middle class are small businesses, mom and pop stores.
Yes.
Professionals like a CPA, a lawyer, doctors, dentists, whatever. This is all Main Street. This is all middle class, small businesses. I mean, small businesses that have like an engineering doing like if you have a small company and you're doing 24/7 research and development, you could very easily grow to the status of a big company or a corporation. There's so much potential in a small growth company.
Yeah, agreed.
What's happening? The fat cats are on a tax vacation. Middle class are paying the burden, taking on the burden of taxation, and the trickle down is not happening because the money pools at the top with the CEO. There's really no trickle down economics taking place. Then you have outsourcing, like office jobs. Let's take call centers, inbound call centers, customer service. They're in the Philippines. They're giving them 50 cents an hour, $1 an hour with no benefits. So they used to be here in the United States. So you got snow out there?
Apparently. What the hell for?
What the hell's going on? You have snow? Holy shit! We have like
We here. Oh yeah.
we're having mild spring-like weather, and you have snow.
Yeah, in the past week we were in like the 50s and the 60s, and then that happened.
Who knows? Maybe there's flurries out here by me. I just haven't looked.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, if you have that, you know, your weather and our weather are very similar.
Yep.
You know. Yeah. So you know, it's a big mess of corruption and.
Yeah. My whole shtick. I don't care if businesses want to be like prosperous. That's unfortunate. No, it's not. That's what businesses are in. Why would you be in the business to just not make money or break even?
But
break even. That's not what it should be. But it shouldn't be on the back. It shouldn't be on the back of any person particularly. It should. I mean, people that are working for your business are should be considered a lot of the reasoning why your business can continuously be.
Yeah, they should be making a living wage. They should have health benefits. They should have a pension for when they retire if they
minimally, yeah.
If they stick around in the company long enough. You know, this is the reason why your corporation is prospering, is because of your employees. Now, if your employees are disgruntled and treated like shit and don't care, then you're not
later go somewhere else. Yeah, that's your time. Your time is you got to go. Unfortunately, you got to make that decision. There's a lot of light here. You got to make that decision if you're gonna do what the Clash says. Should I stay or should I go? Maybe you should go.
Should I go?
But that's the other side of the coin is that in the economy, especially with, I don't want to get into coronavirus. That's a whole different story. But because of that, it's now going up and down and up and down. It's been doing that for the last 10 years, 12 practically. You never know what the economy is going to do. And even if you don't like your fucking job, it's like, well, you should. So unfortunately, half the time you need to look at it as, well, at least I have one in this economic downtime. And that's got to be better than the alternative, which is I got to go and find another job. I know it sounds pretty cruel, but you got to almost look at it that way these days. It sucks, but you have to. Yeah. You never know what's going to happen. And you never know one day another 2008 is going to happen. You never know. I mean, I think Donald Trump has been, I couldn't tell you the numbers, but I think he's been okay when it's come to the economy in this country as compared to when President Obama was in office. But you still it's still so dependent on what's going on internationally these days that we never know what could really happen.
Yeah, well, I know all the Chinatowns are hurting bad. Anything run by Asian people.
That's dumb, though. Yeah,
they're not going there. They're not going to the restaurants. They're those stupid rednecks were avoiding Corona beer because of the coronavirus. That was totally insane.
14% of Americans believe that have been surveyed about the coronavirus that Corona beer is the cause of the fucking coronavirus. Yes, the random ass brewery in Mexico is the epicenter of the coronavirus. Right.
I mean, that's proof of either inbreeding that's been going on or brain cell deficiency. Maybe there's radon gas coming from the ground where they live. Who the hell knows that? But that's beyond stupidity. Remember Ebola? That was more frightening than the coronavirus. Ebola, and that was in the news every day and night. It was the Ebola virus scare, and that vanished. That stopped. That stopped dead in its tracks. And when you think about Ebola, that's a virus that liquefies your internal organs. You know, I mean, that was pretty scary. And and then, of course, there was the bird flu from chicken.
Avian flu, yeah.
Yeah, the avian flu that came from China also. SARS.
SARS.
SARS. But,
Yeah.
the thing is, quarantine is very important. And there's not enough test kits. You see, that's the only thing. Trump says we have get tested. We have plenty of test kits. The truth is they don't have enough test kits, and you don't want to take up hospital space with people that just have the symptoms of the common cold or
right
regular flu. So you want to test them right away. This way you can quarantine them and they won't infect others. So that's why these test kits are so vital, so important. To nip it in the bud and quarantine them immediately. And then they have their immune system. There's immunostimulating drugs. There are other ways to stimulate the immune system, but that's all they have is their immunity, because there's no vaccine yet. So
right.
The testing is the most important thing. Now, the problem with masks, what the doctors recommend is frequently rub your hands, pour rubbing alcohol, and sterilize your hands and fingers with the alcohol. As opposed to being so mask conscious, because what's happening, Eric, is that people keep on readjusting the mask and touching their face. And that's how it's transmitted. Hands to nose, hands to mouth. And they're always fidgeting with the mask. So this is the problem. So go to the dollar store, go to the drugstore, get bottles of rubbing alcohol.
Isopropyl alcohol.
Isopropyl, not the food grade. Isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and sterilize your hands frequently. And that is the best thing. If you go to the ATM, well, I know everybody goes to the ATM machine. Don't touch the screen with your bare hands. Use a glove, disposable latex glove, or just stick your hands in like I do. The produce bags from Trader Joe's, they're nice and soft. I put my hand in there, press the touch screen with my hand in the bag, and then I turn it inside out, and it goes right in the trash.
Oh yeah, yep. Who was it? That Tito's. You say alcohol, and then there are enough of the stupid Americans that think that, Tito's vodka, I can use that for sterilization. Oh, and then Tito's vodka has to come out publicly and tell people, stop being stupid. You cannot use Tito's vodka for washing your hands.
No,
that's not the kind of alcohol you're supposed to use.
It has to. Isopropyl rubbing alcohol is 50 to 60% alcohol. Most of it is 50. You got to use that. You don't. You know what's funny? They don't even mention hydrogen peroxide. So there must be something in the isopropyl rubbing alcohol that kills more microbes than the hydrogen peroxide.
I would think so.
Now, with the hydrogen peroxide, you know what I use that for? Toothbrush.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's got sterilizing my toothbrush, because toothbrushes are warm and wet, and that grows bacteria. So that's an excellent way. Get a shot glass, sterilize your toothbrush once a week, overnight, in hydrogen peroxide.
Sure.
That is a way to prevent getting sick. But so you have another beer, or do you want to go go bye-bye? You have another beer?
I'm thinking of signing off here for the evening.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was good to having the beer, having the music, having the whatever discussion. I think those things are cool to have in a relatively non-confrontational format there. Yeah.
it was
Pretty good.
non-confrontational. It was very diversified.
Yup.
We
No one
did,
got pissed poor angry at somebody because they drank too much beer and they said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
we did food review. We talked about pizza. We talked about seafood in New England. You did your beer reviews. Excellent.
I had
Education.
to pour some of that Bud Ice down the drain. I was like, I'm done with that crap. Ooh.
Yeah, and I figured that beer reviewing goes well with red pill alpha male discussions because it's all man cave stuff. You know, it's all goes together. Heavy metal rock is good for alpha male lifestyle. I mean, we talked about Oxblood Forge. You guys have another gig that you want to plug for Oxblood Forge?
Not yet. Not yet. We're going back in the studio. I guess today is Saturday. Yeah, we're going back. We're going back this afternoon and getting more guitar tracks down. Working hard on that album, and as gigs requests come into us, we will consider them. The only other thing that we're going to try to do right now is we're going to try to get, I think Record Store Day in this country is, what is it, like April 15th or 18th maybe. We're going to try to get a gig at a local record store in Rhode Island and maybe play a Record Store Day at an actual record store. That might be the next thing we do. That would be sweet, unless another gig comes our way, but Record Store Day, that would be sweet.
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, because that's the local businesses and stuff. Those are small mom and pop kind of stuff.
I'm surprised that there's any small record stores left, really, because that's amazing.
Stores are. It's like anything else. There's a community of people that like. I don't know, anything you can, like with the beer and stuff. Yeah, you can just go to the local store and just go and buy your Budweiser, sure. But there's going to be a community that wants the real, authentic. I want to go out. You can buy whatever you want online. I get it. You can just download it. You want to have that physical release. You want to support it. You want to listen to it. If you want a physical vinyl record, you go to the store, you buy it, you get a collection, you put on. And you listen to it and you support it. Some people really still, I can understand that to a certain extent. People really like me, that really love music, love to have the physical version of those things in their hands and feel it and have it and connect with it. And some people actually do think that even if it's vinyl, like a record, there's a different audio quality that people really prefer over just, okay, I download your MP3, which is much appreciated if you download Oxblood MP3s and you buy them. But just having that physical release is just something of a lost art these days. And please go to your local record stores and buy albums, people.
That's true. Hey, it could be a small mom and pop a hardware store where they have expertise, advice for people. It could be a pet shop where they have knowledge. It could be anything. You go to the big retail giants, they're just retail employees. They don't have expertise. But you're right about the vinyl record. There is a distinctive difference in the quality of sound with the vinyl album. I was told that. But anyway, thank you.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again, people.
And
we should get more people to join on a Friday.
Yes, and well, we tried, but we had Michael.
Yeah, I don't even care as much if a lot of the Fridays as we go along in political campaign season, if some of the discussion is based around that. I don't really mind that. That's cool topics to talk about with the beer too.
Yeah, but it was
in some
also, it was, I like the diversity of food, of food talk is really good because people love to eat great food. I mean, beer goes well with go with great pizza, with great fish and chips or whatever you're eating. I mentioned the whole bellied fried clams, which is
yes.
even scallops have another part to the scallop shell. There's a whole bellied, the whole scallop. In New England, they cook the whole thing.
Oh
And
yeah. Yes, we do.
that's right. Chowder. You don't call it chowder, James. You're supposed to say chowder clams. He tells me.
I've never said that in my 31 years living in this damn state. Everybody's people typically ask me if I'm from the Midwest with my accent. I'm like, I've lived in southeastern Massachusetts for my whole life.
Well, it's like Connecticut is considered southern New England, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts are considered southern New England. And
Rhode Island is, if you go to Rhode Island, you end up getting somewhere half in between, like that Boston type accent and something from New York City almost.
There's
a big Italian population in or of heritage in Rhode Island. That's the big
the funny thing is, when me and one of my exes, Spanish girl, we were in Mystic. We used to go to Mystic Seaport a lot.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that area.
Mystic is cool. It's near the Rhode Island border, and when we used to go out to eat, all the couples are all blonde women with their Caucasian husbands or boyfriends. They were all the men were staring at my girlfriend, and the women were getting pissed off because it's like they don't see that up there. They don't see a tropical exotic Latina with a white guy, and the girls were like getting pissed. Hey man, get pissed at your boyfriend. Don't give my girlfriend dirty looks. And it's so funny because it was like we were in a zoo and they were observing us.
Chill.
All right.
Relax.
All right. Here we go.
Enjoy the moment, people. Live on Friday nights.
Da, da, da.
See you later. Woo!
Take care, everyone.